pushing on. Can't hold me back. Come on, come on. Train, sleep, repeat.
Train, sleep, repeat.
Now I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
You can't compete.
Hey, I'm here to steal the show.
Let's go.
Train, sleep, repeat. Let's go, let's go.
You can make it. Are you ready? Let's go. Let's go, let's go. I said, let's go, let's go. You're gonna steal the show.
Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Hey, let's go, let's go.
Toyota, all about the drive.
Hello everyone, to car enthusiasts, petrol heads, welcome back. And for those of you who've just joined us here during this live session, I'm Nazruddin Rahman and this is the Toyota Gazoo Racing Velocity Esports Championship 2021. And if you missed semi-final one just a few moments ago, my goodness, you missed out on a truly awesome race. And first up, thank you to UMW Toyota for bringing Malaysia's biggest esports event when it comes to simulation racing. Over 800 Malaysians came and tried their very best, but now it's down to the final 20. Who will make it to the grand finals? We'll be announcing those names soon enough. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular session has been truly exciting, and those who are not familiar with the format, we've got 20 semi-finalists broken up into two groups, Group A and Group B. We've just finished the session for Group A and we'll be moving on to Group B. 10 drivers and only 5 grand finalists. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on any further, we'll share with you not just the highlights but also the results, the final results of Group A. And there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Taj Izrin Aiman bin Taj Madira scoring 68 points and running an awesome race, coming in number 1. Our second qualifier is Muhammad Iqbal Suji at 58 points. Muhammad Afif bin Suhaimi coming in third at 33 points. Our fourth qualifier is Alvin Chai Ming Han at 30 points. And our final qualifier, Harish Shami bin Muttase at 30 points. Congratulations to our grand finalists. Now it's time for you guys to prepare for tomorrow's race. Meanwhile, the heat is on for Group B. 10 races, but only 5 will be qualifying for the grand final. And before we go any further, we'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, Toyo Tires, Denso, Modelisa, NK, Drive M7, Motis, and Toyota Capital Malaysia. Before we go on any further, I'll introduce you to our commentators. These guys pack a punch when they come together. Please welcome Amir Haziq, aka Amo, and Izwan Muhammad Noor. Dipersilakan.
Thank you, Naz, and thank you for that lovely intro. Yes, we are actually in now Group B for the semi-finals. The final 10 drivers who are going to try to book their slot for the 5 positions in the final. Of course, my name is Amir Haziq, aka Amo. Alongside me, Izwan Mono. Izwan, what are you looking forward to?
Ya, kita nak melihat apakah yang akan berlaku dalam kumpulan B nanti. 10 lagi pelumba, hanya 5 tempat yang tinggal. Tetapi seperti mana yang Nas katakan, sememangnya perlumbaan dalam kumpulan A sangat-sangat hebat, sangat-sangat sengit untuk mereka merebut tempat 5 tempat dalam kumpulan A yang sudah pun diketahui tadi, iaitu Taj Izrin yang berjaya untuk berada di tempat yang pertama. Tetapi sebelum itu mungkin kita boleh melihat terlebih dahulu apakah yang bakal ataupun apakah yang sudah pun berlaku sepanjang perlumbaan yang membabitkan aksi dalam kumpulan A.
Lampu pun sudah dipadamkan dan let's go racing. On tak on, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan.
Coming up for P7 here, and literally they're getting the bumpers out here. Sam Wong and Muhammad Faisal now trying to fight it out. P7, they're actually getting sideways as they try to get through that move there, but it looks like, I think I just saw someone. Harris, he just went way off track there and might be losing yet another position here as Daniel Food. And Harris unfortunately loses a little bit of position now to Danesh, so Danesh will have the lead going through this chicane here. He goes right up to the curb here, making sure he leaves no space at all. Viv is really trying hard. Harris has crashed out yet again. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, but this might actually end up becoming good news.
Kita lihat Iqbal Suji kini menjadi menjadi pemenang di dalam race pertama untuk Grup A.
Here we go. This is going to be the race start. Cameron keeping the start very, very nice and tidy.
Dan kita nampak on screen. Sam.
Aiman.
Sam keluar di situ nampaknya.
Oh.
Dan touch Aiman. Terus saja memintas dan masih lagi Haris. Cuba mempertahankan posisi beliau, tetapi Haris cukup baik di situ. Adakah peluang? Dan nampaknya Iqbal Suji. Adakah ini peluang? Masih lagi Iqbal Suji memintas juga. Sebab saya sangat-sangat teringin nak tengok apa jadi di dalam. Dan apakah yang bakal berlaku di dalam 11 straight. Terus saja nampaknya. Dan nampaknya touch Aiman sudah pun memintas Alvin Chai. Terus saja ke Sleko. Woodcourt. That was impressive by touch Aiman. Untuk Haris memintas di situ. Tapi agak jauh sebenarnya. Adakah ini peluang yang baik untuk Haris? Tapi Iqbal Suji defended really well. But masih lagi Haris. Tetapi Iqbal, he just know what he's doing there, man.
Yeah, it's the final lap. Touch Aiman comes across the line to take the win here. And
Sudah lihat, so nampaknya lampu pun sudah dipadamkan. And let's go racing on tak on. Dan nampaknya Iqbal Suji kini berada di hadapan dengan satu start yang cukup baik. Kita tunggu dan lihat apakah akan jadi di dalam Sleko ini. Dan nampaknya satu Sleko yang cukup baik. The hell sebenarnya. Buat kita nampak Haris masih lagi mendekati, mengambil garisan ke dalam. Adakah ini peluang yang cukup baik? Pintas juga Haris di situ. Nampaknya Sam ketinggalan dan terus saja Haris. That was a really good move di situ. Dan kita terus saja. Adakah ini peluang yang cukup baik untuk Elvin? Dan nampaknya Elvin memintas juga. Dan terus ke dalam P keempat meninggalkan Muhammad Faizal. Nampaknya mendekati di situ Iqbal. Adakah ini peluang yang cukup baik untuk Iqbal memintas? Dan nampaknya kesilapan daripada Alvin Chai. Dan nampaknya Iqbal Suji memintas juga Alvin Chai di situ. Dengan kesilapan daripada Alvin Chai. Iqbal Suji, he said you can do all the mistakes all you want. But man, I'm gonna go ahead of you.
right now, Alvin, he's giving so much toll right now to Harris, and Harris is going to be able to go around the outside of the chase here in order to make this move, and he pretty much already made it stick already by the finish line here. Taj Aiman finishes the race in front of everyone else here. He wins race number 3 ahead of Iqbal Suji, who should be coming across the line right.
Ya, intisari daripada perlumbaan Group A. Menarik sekali. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed that one, there'll be more thrills and spills coming in at Group B. If you, as you can see, 3 races altogether to accumulate as many points as possible. Race 1 and 2 at the Goodwood track in the UK, and race 3 down under Australia, Australia's most prominent and popular track, which is Bathurst. Yeah, 2 different cars over 3 tracks. Well, I was actually looking forward to the classic race. They'll be driving a Toyota 2000 GT 1967. Slip and Slide is the name of the game, and they graduate to the GR Supra for race 3. And so, without further ado, let's take a look at the lineup. Who can we expect the semi-finalists for Group B?
Right then, so Group B, we have Muhammad Uzai, who's actually going to be leading the way in this one. He's seated number 1. 2 is Rio, who's from Selangor, and then we're going to go through the rest of it. Mu Xuan Jing, Putra Azwira, and Mia Muhammad Hafiz.
Alright, so that's the lineup for Group B, ladies and gentlemen. 10 semi-finalists, but only 5 grand finalists are for grabs. So, it's over to the commentators. Let's get up close and personal with the drivers from Group B.
So first up is Muhammad Uzai, 29 years old.
Rio Panakusuma, 32 tahun.
Mu Xuan Jing, 32 years old.
Putra Azwira, 19 tahun.
Mia Muhammad Hafiz, 33.
Nabil Azlan, 19 tahun.
Go Ye Ying, 28.
Chung Kian Sin, 32.
Aiman Hazim, 25.
Lee Jia Cheng, 27 tahun. Itu antara pelumba-pelumba yang akan bersaing. 10 pelumba kesemuanya untuk kumpulan untuk dalam kumpulan B ini. Dan anda sendiri, anda mahu melihat siapakah yang anda mahu saksikan dalam kumpulan B ini?
Memang, well, sorry. To be honest, right, it's the favorite of the bunch has to be Uzai and Mio, because they were both first and second in the 2018 edition of the Toyota Velocity Esports Championship. So I'm looking to them to be the guys to perform, while the other drivers may try to upset the apple cart a bit by trying to actually upstage them. So it'll be interesting to see how they can go at it. But those two are definitely the pick of the bunch.
Dan kalau saya, Uzai dan juga Rio Panakusuma, antara 2 pelumba yang mana saya nak melihat persaingan ini kerana mereka ini mara ke peringkat separuh akhir dengan memenangi kedua-dua perlumbaan. di peringkat suku akhir. Muhammad Uzair yang berada dalam kumpulan B sewaktu di peringkat suku akhir menang dalam 2 perlumbaan, sementara Rio Panakusuma dalam kumpulan D juga memenangi kedua-dua perlumbaan. Jadi persaingan dua pelumba ini antara yang menarik untuk kita saksikan, di samping dengan kelibat antara pelumba-pelumba lain seperti Putra Azwira dan juga Nabil Azlan. Jadi kita nak dengar apa kata Nabil Azlan, antara pelumba pilihan dalam perlumbaan untuk kumpulan B kali ini.
Thank you very much, boys. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been paying attention to our commentators, it seems so far the competitors have been really on the ball, in a sense that this platform, although many of them are new to it, the learning curve has been pretty simple for these guys. It's like a duck to water when we talk about youth and the digital world. My goodness, their capacity to pick things up is really amazing. And so, speaking of amazing, we're going to be speaking to one of our digital racers has been burning a lot of digital rubber and making waves as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we go one-on-one this time with Nabil Azlan, one of the favorites to be representing Malaysia on the world stage. Hey Nabil, how you doing?
Yeah, doing just fine. How are you?
So far, so good. I see the sweat trickling down your brow, even though it's on a virtual setting. So, what's it like being one of the favorites? You know, a lot of pressures on your shoulders to perform really well for this edition of TGR Velocity. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty grateful to qualify, and didn't really expect myself to be placed with one of the fastest drivers around here, especially in GT Sport. I'm still getting to familiarize myself within this game. I think this is my first ever championship that I managed to qualify in. So yeah, happy
Good
to be
stuff.
here.
Good stuff. And well, I was saying earlier, it's a simple learning curve, especially for the younger generation. How hard has it been for you to get on board the platform?
Yeah, I've like done only probably 1 week practice before for the qualifiers, and I've done tons of YouTube researches and Googling, tried how to extract the most out of the car and in the game, because different platforms you have different driving techniques to do it. So GT Sport is one of the most trickiest, not the trickiest, but a bit hard to learn with. So yeah.
I mean, does it add to
yeah.
the realism? Are you happy with the variables and how your car's handling so far?
Yeah. So far it's so good. Yeah. I think I'm slowly getting a handle of it in this game. So hopefully, by time comes on, I'll be more quicker as well.
Excellent. So let's talk about rivals as well. There are quite a few of you that have been touted to do really well this season. So who's your biggest contender?
I think my biggest contender will be Taj Aiman. I think he's everyone's to aim. I think as well. He's been last year's Toyota champion as well. So yeah, maybe this season it might be different. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, consistency is usually the key, no matter if it's a physical race or if it's a virtual race. So there's another driver as well who's been touting himself as number one. I am number one on social media. What do you think of this guy?
This guy is pretty quick as well. You know, despite him calling himself Malaysia's number one and all, but thing I've seen him race before in this platform, he's really quick as well. So he might be can consider himself number one, but all of this to see during the race.
All right, put your money where your mouth is, huh? I like you, Nabil. You're a humble guy, and you have realistic expectations in going into this race. So now, when we talk about a company like Toyota, supporting you guys and bringing this platform, not just that, you have a chance to race on an international stage. We've got 40 of the fastest times will be going to the semi-finals, and then from there, the finals, 10 of the best. And if you track a good time, you'll be going regional and maybe the world. What do you have to say about that?
That'll be a big honor. Really, I've never I never really really raced internationally before, so to be given that opportunity to do so is really grateful and an honor as well. So it's not an easy achievement to do so. So yeah, I think everyone will be racing to get that opportunity.
Very good. And so, about TGR Velocity, the platform itself, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, yeah, it's a really good platform. I think it's one of the biggest events in Malaysia as well, and because you have such a big cash prize as well, and to also, if you win it, you get to go to the regional. So that's a lot of stuff packed up for grabs. So yeah, I think this is one way to really prove yourself to be amongst one of the best in Malaysia, not only in Malaysia but in the Asia Pacific. So yeah.
Well done. I'm wishing you all the best, Nabil. You're actually my favorite. I like humble people, the underdogs. Suddenly, boom, come from behind. Number one. So hopefully you prove me right. Good luck on that virtual track, Nabil.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. That was one of the favorites to do really well in this season's Toyota Gazoo Racing Velocity season. And so, what else? It's back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks so much for the interview with Nabil there. And Izwan, we didn't really mention Nabil as well at the start of the show because we singled out like Uzai and Mio and Rio because they were both the guys all three guys that performed well during the semi-finals, quarterfinals. Now, we can say about Nabil, he seems to be that humble guy, but he's quick. Do you believe so?
Ya, betul. Saya rasa Nabil akan melakukan sesuatu pada peringkat separuh akhir ini kalau kita melihat kepada prestasinya di peringkat suku akhir, yang mana Nabil Mara selaku pelumba ketiga terbaik dalam kumpulan D, dan dia juga berada pada kedudukan di tempat yang ketiga dalam perlumbaan yang pertama dan di tempat yang kelima pada perlumbaan yang kedua. Tetapi dengan pengalaman yang ada, apa yang telah dilaluinya di peringkat suku akhir, saya percaya Nabil boleh melakukan sesuatu pada saingan separuh akhir ini untuk menjadi 5 yang terbaik mara ke peringkat akhir nanti.
Right, now then, so we can have a look at the 2000 GT and the Goodwood circuit that we're going to use on. So, Izwan, take it away for the car.
Okey, seperti yang kita akan menyaksikan perlumbaan di mana pelumba-pelumba akan menggunakan Toyota 2000 GT 1967. Menariknya tentang kereta ini yang mula dipertontonkan kepada umum pada 1965 di Tokyo Motor Show dan kali pertama menyertai perlumbaan pada 1966 ketika Grand Prix Jepun di Litar Fuji dan memenangi perlumbaan pertama ketika Suzuka 1000 km juga pada 1966 dengan kelajuan top speed 210 km sejam. Saya menyangkakan antara yang pastinya dari segi handling mungkin Amir lebih arif tentang cara handling kereta jenama Toyota 2000 GT ini.
Well, Izwan, this car is actually based on the tires where it's in the time it's called cross-ply tires, not regular tires that we're used to. So a lot of sliding is possible with this car. So you get to see a lot of go sideways moments in especially a circuit that we're going to come out to after this, which is Goodwood. So this car is a lot of fun. Very sideways and a lot of yaw. And we go to the track now, which is Goodwood. And this coming out the chicane here, it's a circuit located in Chichester in England. And it has hosted the Goodwood Revival since 1998, where classic cars race around here. And fittingly enough, we've got a classic car to look forward to, and that's the Toyota 2000 GT at Goodwood. And we can't wait to see these cars in action. And we go through to the format here. Izwan, take it away.
Okey, ini format perlumbaan untuk peringkat kelayakan 5 minit time attack yang akan dilalui oleh pelumba-pelumba untuk menentukan kedudukan grid mereka bagi perlumbaan yang pertama. Balance performance on tetapi tuning off itu yang akan diguna pakai dalam format perlumbaan untuk race yang pertama ini. Dan seterusnya 15 minit. 15 minit perlumbaan yang akan dilalui oleh pelumba-pelumba dalam perlumbaan yang pertama. Bagi 15 minit kebiasaannya jarang ada pelumba yang akan melakukan pit stop.
Rarely, but it depends on the tire wear. If the drivers actually wear out their tires very fast, they're going to come into the pit stop. So we saw that before in Brands Hatch in the Yaris, where some drivers actually pitted during the sprint race, the shorter race, and then before the long race, which is half an hour, 50 minutes. So it is dependent, but I have a feeling they might not do so because 50 minutes is quite short. But half an hour one, yes, might be so.
Dengan lita pun sepanjang 3.8 km ada 7 corner, 7 selekoh untuk perlumbaan pertama dan juga kedua di Goodwood Motor Circuit. Itu antara yang akan dilalui oleh kesemua 10 pelumba dalam kumpulan B kali ini. Dan kalau berkata tentang strategi, perlumbaan sangat-sangat penting di peringkat kelayakan, terutamanya apa yang lebih penting adalah untuk mereka cuba mencatatkan masa terbatas kerana kedudukan grid akan mempengaruhi kepada keputusan perlumbaan yang pertama.
Exactly, and also the fact that you want to start off on a good foot here.
Yeah.
You want to start this particular juncture in the tournament to be riding on the good foot. In this case, if you have a win or you're in the top 5, you're doing great already. You just need to secure that for the second race. And for the second race wise, we're gonna see the reverse grid happen, and some drivers have thrived in reverse grid races. So it'll be interesting to see whether those guys can actually do a double in the one. But for now, we're gonna have to focus on qualifying. So here we are then, qualifying for Group B, the semi-finals here for the Toyota Velocity Esports Championship Season 4, and we can't wait to get this underway because we got some really good contenders here who can actually qualify for the final. We got the likes of Uze, Rio Kusuma, Mio Hafiz, and Putra Azmira, and of course Nabi Azlan that we interviewed earlier. So that's just 5 out of the 10 that can possibly go through. It's anybody's game here, it's quite open. Izwan?
Jadi 5 minit yang ada untuk semua pelumba bagi mereka mencatatkan masa yang terbaik bagi untuk meletakkan diri dalam kedudukan grid, terutamanya di baris pertama dan juga di baris yang kedua. Seperti mana yang selalu kita katakan dalam perlumbaan ini, pusingan kelayakan sangat penting kerana penentuan di perlumbaan yang pertama amat dipengaruhi dengan kedudukan grid, apatah lagi dengan hanya 15 minit. Dan di litar ini merupakan antara high speed circuit ataupun litar berkelajuan tinggi. Ada sekurang-kurangnya 2 ataupun 3 seleko yang mempunyai seleko berkelajuan tinggi untuk pelumba-pelumba. Itulah yang digemari oleh pelumba-pelumba apabila berlumba di atas litar berkelajuan tinggi ini.
So then coming up to the Levant Straight, after the Levant corner, and we're coming up to Woodcut. Now this is not the Woodcut that we see in Silverstone. This is actually Goodwood's own Woodcut, because it literally means cabin in the woods. So it's just the name of the corners that they share because of its history. There it is, this Woodcut corner, a double right-hander that can easily go wrong here for certain drivers. And we saw that previously in Group A, where one driver got sent into the barriers. So anything can happen if you get 2 cars through there. Now then, on to the start-finish line. We're going to start qualifying laps. Let's hope we can stay with Uzay because he's definitely one of those drivers who is going to be a favorite here. So, up to turn 1, this is Matchwick corner, a very fearsome corner where if you're driving a single-seater, let alone in a Toyota 2000 GT. You're going to see that full throttle, 4th gear, the car, the body roll, the amount of body roll in these cars, the suspension's that soft there, that's how much commitment they're going to throw into it. Then coming up to Fort Water, just a kink, no lift, 5th gear, almost 200 kilometers per hour. Now they're coming up to another double right corner where it will lead up to St. Mary's. A treacherous part of the course because if you go sideways or you go side by side between 2 cars, you can narrow up and you can end up right there in the grass, be sent into oblivion. Coming up now to Levant corner then, we're already halfway through the lap. 4th gear, you gotta have a bit of light brake. There we go, Uzay is on the brake slightly, slides the car coming in through, dab of the throttle and goes back on and off and onto the throttle then, again as he is trailing Rio Kusuma in front of him. So he's gonna get a bit of a slipstream coming onto the back straight, onto Levant straight. A bit of a kink, there's Levant straight and Levant, well it's not called Levant corner, it's just a slight kink on the Levant straight, but it is what it is. Coming up now to the final few corners of the lap here, including Woodcut that we just mentioned earlier. Again, full commitment, lot of body roll, it's a double apex, and he gets it right. In fact, we're looking at Rio Kusuma, but Uzay also follows him through. And coming out to the final corner lap, this is chicane. Uzay gets a 1-second penalty. He's going to have to reduce that before he comes across the line, and he quits it. So that's a lap around the Goodwood circuit, but not in the way that we expected. Uzay is going to be on the back foot here coming into the race.
Jadi Mio Hafiz yang mencatatkan masa terbatas 1 minit 23.078 saat untuk dia berada di tempat yang pertama, dan di kedudukan yang kedua kita dapat saksikan di tempat yang kedua ketika ini adalah Mu Xuanjing yang berada di kedudukan yang kedua, dan Nabil Azlan di tempat yang ketiga. Agak malang kita perhatikan tadi daripada Uzair yang dikenakan penalti 1 saat, biarpun di sepanjang sesi terutamanya ketika menuju ke turn yang terakhir, turn yang ke-7, dia berada pada kedudukan yang agak baik, tetapi selepas itu sedikit kesilapan yang menyaksikan pelumba yang diletakkan sebagai antara pelumba pilihan iaitu Muhammad Uzair masih lagi agak bergelut untuk dia mencatatkan masa dalam sesi kelayakan ini. Masih berada di kedudukan yang ke-10 dengan 58 saat yang tinggal. Sesuatu perlu dilakukan oleh Uzair untuk sekurang-kurangnya dia melakukan catatan masa yang diperlukan, kerana kalau berada pada kedudukan grid, bermula di kedudukan grid yang ke-10 di perlumbaan yang pertama, itu akan memberikan sedikit masalah kepada Uzair di perlumbaan yang pertama nanti.
And he's got enough time to actually cross the line and set another lap. Remember, he came in at around 1 minute 50 left to go, so he can have the opportunity to actually cross the line and set another lap, but it's going to be very tight. If he gets that lap wrong, he's going to be on the back foot from race 1. Now then, we look at the other drivers. Mio's on pole. He's on 1:23.0, and behind him is Cheon Kian Sing. He's about 1:10 behind. That's very close, actually. And another couple of hundreds behind is Rio Kuzuma. So top 3 separated by only about 1.5 tenths.
Mio dengan mencatatkan memperbaiki catatan masanya sebelum ini dengan mencatatkan catatan masa yang terbaru itu 1 minit 23.8078 untuk berada dan kekal di tempat yang pertama. Tetapi kedudukan di tempat yang kedua sudah pun berubah. Chong Kian Sin yang sudah pun naik ke tempat yang kedua untuk menolak Rio di kedudukan yang ketiga. Ada perbezaan 0.116 saat di antara Chung dan juga Mio Hafiz di kedudukan pertama dan juga di kedudukan yang kedua. Masih lagi ada peluang yang terakhir di sini. Kita perhatikan di mana Mio kalau dilihat kepada sektor yang pertama, dia berjaya untuk mencatatkan masa terbaik peribadinya, dan Chung terpantas di sektor yang pertama.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, that he's going. Yeah, you saw that it went purple for a second, but it actually went green now on our timing screens because Chung has set as fastest first sector by just 1,000th of a second, 0.001. So this is going to be close then. Personal second sector best as we come out to the end of qualifying. A minute left here through the chicane, and he comes across the line here. He's going to break the timing beam soon. Is it going to be enough to actually secure pole position here for Chung Kian Sin? Yes, it does! 600ths of a second ahead of the favorite here for Mio Hafiz. Can Mio better that? Here he comes now across the line. He's one.
Mio di tempat yang kedua, tetapi kita perhatikan apakah masa yang akan dilakukan oleh Mio. Dia berampas semula 0.2115 saat lebih baik untuk Mio berada di kedudukan pole.
So we're going to the race then. Wow, wait. Intense end to the qualifying session, but crucially then, for Mio Hafiz, it's pole position. We didn't know where Uzair was. In fact, he actually managed to get into 6th. So here's the top 10 that's going to start the race. It's going to be an interesting one, folks. We're going to see the first race here for Group B in the evening light at Goodwood. Waiting for the lights to come on then. The drivers are getting ready. 3, 2, 1. We're underway here at Goodwood, and that's a good start. That's the kind of start that Mio Hafiz wanted. Great frontal control of the line. He takes the whole shot here, coming to turn 1. Chung is in second, Rio third, fourth is Mu Xuanjing, and as it comes to turn 1 then, Mio takes the lead, second is Chun, and then the rest of the field then safely through, coming through the first corner. We're going to have to see a tactical race here between everybody.
Jadi tiada perubahan di tempat yang pertama dengan Mio bermula baik. Begitu juga dengan pelumba yang berada di petak yang kedua, iaitu Chung Kian Sin yang mengekori kedudukan Mio. Rio juga tidak berubah di tempat yang ketiga, dan di kedudukan yang keempat dapat kita saksikan Mu Xuanjing di kedudukan yang keempat. Jadi 6 pelumba yang berada di hadapan sangat-sangat rapat kedudukannya, dengan menyaksikan Uzair cuba masuk memintas Nabil Azlan untuk naik ke tempat yang kelima. Nabil dalam dari kedudukan bahagian dalam, dia mempertahankan kedudukan itu untuk bertahan di tempat yang kelima. Tetapi perhatikan juga pelumba yang berada di tempat yang ketujuh yang sedang mengejar, itu Putra Azwira. Jadi 7 pelumba yang nampaknya bersaing untuk berada di kelompok hadapan Uzair di tempat yang keenam, Azwira tempat yang ketujuh, Nabil Azlan kekal di kedudukan yang kelima.
And look at that, Uzair actually was flashing Nabil there, so he's getting the initiative on very early. He really wants to get on with it. He doesn't want to be at the back. He wants to be at the very front here in race 1. But Nabil, being the fighter that he is, he's not going to leave that for chance either. He's not going to give Uzair an easy run for it. Now by a long shot, as the drivers now come across the line to complete the end of lap 1, Chung has actually taken the lead from Mio. So Mio has actually lost the lead. The early initiative he's got, he's actually now dropped to third behind Rio. So the championship contenders, or in this case, the contenders for Group B that we singled out, are not having a good time of it. Mio might have been on pole, but now he's dropping a bit.
Rio Pandukusuma, kalau kita ingat kembali kepada perlumbaan di peringkat suku akhir di mana Rio mengejar sebelum meminta seorang demi seorang pelumba. Jadi Rio kini berada di tempat yang kedua dan saya tidak terkejut sekiranya dia akan memimpin perlumbaan ini. Tetapi di pertengahan 3, 4, 5 dan juga 6 masih lagi kita menyaksikan persaingan yang membabitkan Mio Hafiz. Begitu juga dengan Musuan Jing yang berada di tempat yang keempat dan Uzair kini naik di tempat yang kelima. Dia sudah pun melepasi Nabil Azlan yang jatuh ke kedudukan yang keenam.
He disposed of Nabil quite easily. They're coming around the outside through Magic, and you're not advised to go around the outside on any corner on this circuit because you can easily get into the grass as looks like Nabil got a faster sector there, but you wouldn't want to go around the outside, but Uzai just made it stick. Now he's already well on his way trying to actually get back into the top 3 where he feels like he would deserve to be there as they come through now to the end of lap 2. Wu Xuanjing is actually standing in the way of Uzai. Nabil Azlan though, he would like to retaliate here as he comes across the line now. He nearly wants to look on the inside, looks on the outside. Well, he's going everywhere which can, and he's actually entitled to do so because he's the guy behind. If it's the guy in front, Uzai can only block the line once, and that's what he did. Nabil tried to go in out, but nothing to it there. He stays behind in 6.
Uzair nampaknya berjaya untuk menutup ruang, tidak memberikan peluang kepada Nabil Azlan memintas bagi dia terus bertahan di kedudukan yang kelima dan kita perhatikan tempat yang keempat pada ketika ini adalah Mu Xuan Jing yang berada di tempat yang keempat. Dua pelumba yang tersasar, 7 dan juga 8. Azwira di tempat yang ke-7 dan juga pelumba di kedudukan yang ke-8. Kita saksikan tadi yang mana di sini gerak perlahannya dengan kedua pelumba itu gagal untuk mengawal jentera masing-masing sehingga menyaksikan kedudukannya sedikit terbabas dan ini akan menjarakkan diri dengan pelumba di tempat yang ke-6 itu Nabil Azlan.
Yeah, you point that out. He's 6 and 7 now. There's a big gap, so Nabil has a bit of breathing air behind him, so he can actually just focus on the guys in front. As light tap there between Uzai and Mu Xuanjing. So a bit of a love tap, you might say. Uzai wants to make sure that he knows that the guy he's there in front with the guy in front of him. Now he's actually having a bit of momentum switch as looks like Mio actually went off a bit at the final corner. Yes, he did. So he's lost second to Rio. Well, he was in front of him for a while. I think that he got back. Now Mio is actually losing more momentum as the rest of the field tried to swarm him. Mu Xuanjing moves up to third, side by side between Uzai and Nabil. Nabil tries to go to the outside. Magic, that the way that Uzai took plays away from him, it's gonna be an absolute slipstreaming fest.
Nabil sentiasa untuk cuba berada di bahagian dalam bagi mempertahankan kedudukan Uzair yang berada di bahagian dalam dan Nabil berada di bahagian luar dan kali ini ada 3 pelumba yang nampaknya untuk mereka mencari ruang terutamanya menuju ke turn yang keempat iaitu di St. Mary's yang sebentar tadi hampir-hampir ada pintasan yang dapat dilakukan tetapi Nabil kini naik semula ke tempat yang kelima dan kemudiannya Uzair jatuh di kedudukan yang keenam. 5 dan 6 sentiasa berubah tetapi tidak pada situasi yang membabitkan Chun Kian Sin yang nampaknya agak jauh untuk berada di tempat yang pertama. Uzair sudah masuk dari bahagian dalam di sini.
He's flashing again. He wants to get back at Nabil. It must be frustrating for him to see the back of Nabil again. He goes on the inside, coming through Woodcut and makes the move stick. Looks like he just doesn't want to hang around. But unfortunately, Nabil is like a rash that can never go away. And despite a lot of ointment that he's put on, he's still there. Very persistent, isn't he?
Itu dia di Woodcut yang dia memintas kemudiannya melepasi chicane untuk menuju semula ke turn 1 di 11 corner dan kita menyaksikan pula 3 dan juga 4 yang sedang bersaing. Mio mahu naik ke tempat yang keempat, dia mengekori di belakang pelumba yang berada di kedudukan yang ketiga itu Mu Xuanjing yang masih lagi bertahan di sini. Apakah laluan yang akan diambil oleh Mio? Dia hanya mengekori saja untuk berada di belakang Mu Xuanjing dan cuba masuk dari bahagian dalam, tidak dan Mu Xuanjing agak terkeluar sedikit dan Mio menggunakan kesempatan itu. Masih lagi Xuanjing di depan, masuk ke sebelah kiri di St. Mary dan dipertahankan untuk Mu Xuanjing berada di tempat yang ketiga tetapi Mio Hafiz akan terus mengintai peluang ini.
Very good racecraft from Mu Xuanjing there. He let the door open on the inside, but he knew that the next corner is a left-hander. He had the inside line, so He got back the position, and all the while they were both squabbling, they actually put Uzai and Nabil Azlan back into place. So Mio Hafiz then has a bit of a conundrum. He wants to attack the driver in front, but he's holding up also his teammate, a fellow driver in the E-Racing development team, and further behind there, a driver driving for Stratos trying to go around the outside. So a bit of a conundrum. It's inter-team battle, but at the same time they have to battle with drivers around him.
Apa yang menarik Amir kalau kita perhatikan kepada yang berlaku ni antara Mio dan juga Uzai dan juga Nabil Azlan. Sedikit tersasar daripada Uzai yang hampir-hampir terbabas. Tetapi apa yang saya nak katakan, Uzair akan sentiasa memilih laluan di sebelah dalam untuk mempertahankan kedudukannya.
Yes, in fact, that you defend on the inside, you have to better drive out of it because you hold the line, and then after that, you can actually hold that line inside to stall the momentum for the driver behind. As Mio, then we were looking at for a second, no, it's Nabil onto the inside of Uzai, and he takes back fifth position. These guys are swapping positions. Uzai might be absolutely incensed that he's still stuck behind the same driver here, but it's giving us an absolute watch here because Nabil is an absolute fighter. He really doesn't want to give up position. It definitely has shades of a real-world driver who just doesn't want to give up no matter what.
Nabil Azlan dalam perlumbaan yang pertama di suku akhir dia menambahkan saingan di tempat yang ketiga. Kali ini dia bersaing untuk tempat 5 dan juga 6, di mana Uzair menyaksikan dia adalah pelumba yang memenangi kedua-dua perlumbaan di suku akhir. Tetapi persaingan separuh akhir seperti mana yang kita perkatakan akan menjadi sangat-sangat berbeza kerana di sinilah menghimpunkan pelumba-pelumba yang terbaik. Ada yang orang-orang kata kadang-kala saingan separuh akhir lebih sukar daripada apa yang akan berlaku di akhir.
I agree with Azwan because some of the best are actually grouped together in one group. When you get into the final, some of those drivers you might say is a bit weaker than others, but it's a matter of where you can handle it. We saw a driver in front there. Looks like Cheong has actually lost the lead. Ria Kazuma takes the lead. That final corner at the chicane proving to be an Achilles heel for some drivers, and for whoever's leading the race, they've lost it. Now Ria Kazuma has actually gone to the front for the first time in this race.
Kita kehilangan tempat untuk pendahulu sebelum ini, iaitu Chong Kian Sin kini jatuh terus ke tempat yang ketiga, dan kali ini dia diberikan saingan pula oleh Musan Shin untuk perebutan 3 dan juga 4, dan sekali lagi Chong kehilangan tempat yang ketiga pula dengan Musan Shin naik ke tempat yang keempat. Uzair pula naik, begitu juga dengan Nabil Azlan. Apa yang sebenarnya terjadi kepada pendahulu kita iaitu Chong Kian Sin?
Dropped to 6, and that was an unbelievable sequence of corners. I can't believe it. I thought somebody was going to go into the grass and out of the race, or out of reckoning at least, but they're still in it. And in fact, that Uzai is not going to aim for third place. Nabil Azlan's still with him. They're together ever since the beginning of this race. This is great stuff, and we're only in race 1 out of 3.
Perubahan 360 darjah yang membabitkan Kian Sin selepas dia berada di depan. Uzair kini di tempat yang ketiga, Nabil Azlan tempat yang keempat, Chong jatuh di kedudukan yang ke-6 di tempat yang ke-6, Nabil Azlan di tempat yang ke-5, Mu di tempat yang ke-4, Uzair tempat yang ketiga, dan di hadapan Mio Hafiz di kedudukan yang kedua dengan Rio perbezaan 1.3 saat. Kita ada kurang dari 5 minit untuk perlumbaan race yang pertama ini.
And apologies that we have to give to drivers who are actually further behind the top 6, because the top 6 action has been absolutely amazing. But we can tell you that Putra Azwira is in 10th and about 6 seconds behind Ayman Hazim. There we go, we're looking at him right now. Ayman Hazim in front of him, and Lee is in 6th place. In fact, Lee Jiacheng. So that's actually the bottom 3 that will be starting in pole position. Lest we forget that something might happen in the final few minutes of this race that remain at the front of the grid. But these guys are destined to be at the front. Meanwhile, up in front, Uzai goes off. Uzai goes onto the grass. He actually gets back onto it, and Nabil goes through to 4th place. So, unbelievably, the positions change yet again. And look at further in front. Mio has a half-second penalty. So, if he actually slows enough, Uzai and Nabil can get to the back of him again. We can't even call right now who's going to win this race. It's anybody's game.
Sukar untuk kita memilih siapakah yang akan memenangi perlumbaan, tetapi buat seketika Rio nampak selesa. Saya dah perkatakan tadi, Rio adalah pelumba yang akan tunggu waktu yang tepat untuk dia berada di depan, seperti mana strategi yang dilakukannya di peringkat suku akhir, dan kali ini digunakan juga di peringkat separuh akhir. Jadi ada gap yang boleh dikatakan agak selesa untuk Rio di hadapan Mio Hafiz, tetapi persaingan 3, 4, 5, 6 tak boleh lagi kita tentukan siapakah yang akan berada di kedudukan yang ketiga antara Uzair, Nabil Azlan, Mo, Chung Suanshin dan juga Chung terutamanya, yang pastinya perlu melihat semula apa yang berlaku kepada dirinya selepas dia agak lama berada di tempat yang pertama.
Indeed. That must be a gut-wrenching feeling for him, to be honest. To be out in front, leading the way against some of the best drivers in Malaysia, only to drop it at the final corner. And it happened so that when he dropped that momentum, he completely lost it. And now goes on to back to 6. It's disheartening, but he has to get it back up. He can't think about that. He needs to keep on going and try to get the best possible position in his first race. And it's still open for him. He can still get a podium here, at least, because Uzai is still within earshot of that.
Dia perlu kembali fokus semula untuk berada dalam perlombaan Chun Kian Sin yang kini di tempat yang ke-6. Tetapi kita perhatikan di kedudukan yang kedua, Mio dikenakan penalti. Itu akan memberikan peluang kepada Uzair untuk merapati kedudukan Mio Hafiz bagi perebutan di tempat yang kedua dan juga di tempat yang ketiga. Nabil Azlan, dia akan terus diberikan tentangan untuk oleh Mo Xuan Jing kerana Mo sentiasa akan berada di belakangnya terus.
Oh no! He's lost it! He's lost it completely into the final corner! Oh my word! That is just his effort. Now he's going to have to work even harder in the second and third races. He just lost completely around the outside. The tail stepped out into the grass and into the infield barrier. Oh my word, you gotta feel for him. You really have to feel for him. Now look at that 9th place, and he turns on his headlights again. He just wants to show that that car looks like he's crying for his emotions too.
Boleh saya katakan satu malapetaka sebenarnya yang sedang dialami oleh Chun Kian Sin menuju ke penghujung perlombaan yang hanya tinggal kurang daripada 2 minit untuk ditamatkan. Tetapi apa yang boleh kita katakan, chicane mungkin akan memberikan sedikit masalah kepada pelumba-pelumba seandainya mereka tidak berhati-hati.
Indeed, and the fact that in the real world, because we see the Goodwood Revival held around the Goodwood Motor Circuit, a lot of people get unstuck there. In fact, the barrier inside that you see right can get knocked completely broken because the drivers just drive through it. So it is a bit of a, you can say, banana peel corner, or you can say it's a hazard corner. It's everyone's Achilles heel. They just can't seem to get it right. So these drivers will have to look forward to that in the second race, or dread it in the second race.
Race on 3 dan 4, Nabil Azlan dan juga Uzair belum lagi tamat perebutan dan juga persaingan mereka, tetapi di hadapan Rio Pandu Kusuma yang nampaknya agak selesa, dan kedudukan 3 dan juga 4 Mio Hafiz sekali lagi sedikit dan terbabas, dan Nabil Azlan dan Uzair memintas untuk naik ke tempat yang kedua. Mio jatuh ke tempat yang keempat kerana Nabil Azlan naik ke tempat yang ketiga.
Oh my word.
Sedikit kesilapan daripada Mio.
Again, that's 2 mistakes in this race alone that he's actually lost potentially for good point scoring position for the first race. But he can be safe in knowledge that at least it's a top 5 finish, but he could have been more. He might be ruining those missed opportunities if he actually didn't just make those mistakes. Now he's going to have to work harder to actually get close to his teammate, and crucially to Nabil Azlan, who's actually quite fast here, which would be a surprise to the both of them as we look at the battle between F9 for a second. But back at the front, how Mio actually runs wide. We're looking at the second street right now. In fact, he's being chased by Mu Xuan Jing. Look at that. Top 5 in shot, and Lee further behind in 6th place, 7 seconds. So top 6 will definitely be confirmed. We are now on the last lap. So last lap of this race, any last minute overtaking maneuvers has to be done now. And we're looking at Nabil Azlan. Possibility here is one.
Nabil Azlan masih lagi ada peluang untuk naik ke tempat yang kedua, tetapi bukan senang untuk memintas Uzair, kerana Uzair adalah pelumba yang sangat bijak, yang sangat ada pengalaman. Dia akan sentiasa memastikan ruang di sebelah dalam akan ditutup dengan baik, tetapi Nabil Azlan kali ini hanya sedikit saja diperlukannya untuk berada di tempat yang kedua, melepasi chicane dan menuju ke garisan penamat side by side. Apakah Uzair dapat mempertahankannya? Uzair bertahan di tempat yang kedua, Nabil Azlan di kedudukan yang ketiga, dan Rio Pandu Kusuma memenangi perlumbaan yang pertama.
What a race, and Rio Kusuma then putting the doubters wrong in a lot of us, thinking that, well, he's going to be a bit of second or third fiddle to the guys that we mentioned, but he's proven here, a cunning racer, very smart, very fast, and he takes the first race win. As we look at the results here, Uzai second, Nabil Azlan third, Mio Hafiz fourth, Mu Xuan Jing fifth, Aiman Hazim sixth, seventh is Li Jiaqing, eighth is Chung, who's supposed to be up in front there, disappointing for him, 9th is Go Win, and 10th is Putra Azwira. That's the top 10 for the first race. So he's won. Unbelievable race, and we're only into race 1 then. I'm seeing that you're smiling into it right now. You're excited by the race, and you're looking forward to more.
Ya, sebab saya sangat-sangat suka dengan apa yang ditampilkan oleh Rio Pandukusuma. Saya sangat minat dengan pelumba ini sejak daripada peringkat suku akhir. Taktikal yang tepat, dia adalah pelumba yang boleh dikatakan bijak untuk menanti bilakah dia akan bertindak untuk berada di depan dan dapat disaksikan di perlumbaan yang pertama. Tetapi, apa sebenarnya yang berlaku kepada Chun Kian Sin?
I have to say it right. Might have been semi-final jitters. He just felt so nervous to be out in front of really fast guys. He cracked. He just absolutely cracked, and unfortunately, he just had to crack at the worst possible time. And now he's got a lot of work to do from 8th place. But crucially, he's starting in 3rd place for race 2.
Perlu diingat, kita ada 3 perlumbaan untuk peringkat separuh akhir. Masih lagi ada peluang. Okey. Seterusnya, kita akan melihat, kita akan menantikan satu reaksi, akan cuba mendapatkan gambaran bersama dengan Nas tentang pelumba yang memenangi perlumbaan yang pertama di kumpulan B ini, iaitu Rio Pandukusuma.
Terima kasih Izwan, terima kasih Amin. Indeed, an awesome race. We're trying very hard to reach Rio Pandukusuma, but I think there's some technical difficulties. But we have with us Muhammad Uze, our 2nd place person. Hi Uze, how are you? Hi Uze, apa khabar?
Hi.
Nervous? Nervous dah hilang?
Tak nervous sangat lah. Cuma
Fuh.
risau lah. Tak boleh nak masuk ke tak boleh nak buat qualify tadi.
Tak nervous walaupun kita lihat persaingan antara Mio dan juga Rio Pandukusuma, tapi sebenarnya battle yang kita betul-betul tumpukan perhatian adalah antara anda dan Nabil. Budak 19 tahun. Macam mana perasaan anda? Dicocok begitu saja, bertukar-tukar tempat. 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3. Jadi perasaan anda sekarang ini?
Saya pun tak tahu nak cakap macam mana sebab this is my first time battling with Nabi Azlan. So I never seen him in GP Sport. So he's a very good e-sport driver lah. I never seen this guy is such a very good sportsmanship, very good driver. So a very good race we are battling with him.
I cakap terang-terang lah. If I was the driver being harassed by Nabil at that time, I might have lost my cool. I might have created a few penalties. But you kept your cool throughout the race, ya. So macam mana anda rasa prospek anda untuk tahun ini? Anda pernah menjadi orang kata terunggul di TGR Velocity Challenge ini. Jadi macam mana tahun ini? Mampukah anda mengunggulinya semula?
Saya tak pasti sebab sekarang kita pun ada dah makin ramai driver yang laju. So this year I think very tough lah untuk this year championship. I don't think I can win, but I try my best.
Kita letak grand final ke tepi dulu. For semi final 2, Group B, siapakah pesaing anda yang terhebat?
Pesaing saya yang terhebat Rio, Nabi Azlan, Mio, Chuan Jing, semua sekali lah yang dekat dalam ni sebenarnya top 10 ni untuk semi final ni sebab saya rasa memang dah di tahap yang very tough lah, tapi saya tak tahu lagi lah untuk yang grand final mungkin lagi tough.
Rendah diri orangnya Uzaini. We wish you the very best. And are you ready for race 2? Keep your cool and we'll see you reverse grid. Terima kasih Uzaini.
Okay, bye.
Well, that was Muhammad Uze, of course, fighting his way right up from the back of the grid and watching his particular duel with Nabil right there. Really sets the tone for race 2. I don't know how the commentators feel, but I am raring to go. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's back to the highlights of race 1.
Okey, ini rangkuman untuk perlumbaan yang pertama bagi kumpulan B yang mana menyaksikan Mio Hafiz yang bermula dari grid hadapan mempertahankan kedudukan itu dan kemudiannya dia diikuti oleh Chun Kian Sin yang berjaya untuk berada di tempat yang kedua, tetapi Rio ketika di awal perlumbaan dapat memintas untuk naik ke tempat yang kedua, dan persaingan lebih banyak tertumpu kepada di kedudukan 5 dan juga 6, iaitu perlumbaan yang menyaksikan Uzair dan juga Nabil Azlan sentiasa saja bertukar-tukar posisi, dan pada ketika ini menyaksikan Mo Xuan Jing berada di tempat yang ketiga, Mio Hafiz yang jatuh di tempat yang keempat merampasnya semula, dan seterusnya ini memberikan peluang kepada Uzair dan juga Nabil untuk merapati 2 pelumba yang berada di hadapannya. Jadi 4 pelumba yang bersaing untuk merebut kedudukan di tempat ketiga, 4, 5 dan juga 6 di pertengahan perlumbaan, kerana pada saat ini menyaksikan Chun Kian Sin berada pada situasi yang sangat baik untuk mendahului dia sebelum dia hilang momentum. Rio Pandukusuma naik ke tempat yang pertama, Mio Hafiz di kedudukan yang kedua, dan Uzair di kedudukan yang ketiga. Satu lagi kesilapan dilakukan oleh Chun Kian Sin, tetapi perlumbaan ini dimenangi oleh Rio Pandukusuma, Uzair di tempat yang kedua dan Nabil di tempat yang ketiga.
And here are the results from Race 1 for Group B. Rio Pandakusuma takes an emphatic win in front of Muhammad Uzair, who managed to recover from going from the back of the grid to the front. Amazing drive, had a long battle with Nabil Azlan, who finishes a fine third. Mio Hafiz will be a bit disappointed that he's finished fourth, making a couple of really rookie mistakes that could have been a win for himself. 5th, Mu Xuanjing. 6th, Ayman Azing. 7th, Li Jiaqing. 8th is Chun Kian Sing, who could have been right up in that top 5 had it not been for a massive mistake in the final corner and a spin in also the same corner that cost him a good potential position. 9th, Go Ying Ying, and 10th, Putazwira, who was involved in a big melee at the start of the race as well. So Nas, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Amir. Thank you, Izwan. Of course, looking at the highlights and listening to the commentary as well, I do not want to be Mr. Chun Kian Sing right now. From a podium finish, moving all the way to the back, it must be truly frustrating. But real racers manage to put those feelings aside because it's the next race that's important. So, moving forward, we're going to take a quick break right here in the studio. But when we come back, it's race 2. Same car, the Toyota 2000 GT, same track, but this time, we go in reverse. All this after the break. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Nazruddin Rahman bringing you through semi-final 2, Group B, in which 10 racers have just completed race 1, the first of 3 races to cement their place in the grand finals. For those of you who just joined us, this is the Toyota Gazoo Racing Velocity Esports Championship 2021. From over 800 participants across Malaysia, it's now down to the final 20. We've chosen 5 racers already who've qualified for the grand finals, and now we look for the final 5. Race 1 has just gone underway, and it was an awesome race. Coming in pole position, first place, Rio Pandu Kusuma. Well done. A very, very cool race indeed from start to finish. But now it's time to go in reverse when we talk about the Goodwood Circuit. And we're still in the Toyota 2000 GT 1967 car. It's a beautiful car, guys. Maybe just a bit of trivia for you guys. Only 67 units of left-hand drive cars were made in America, and if you were to score one, you'd be a millionaire right now. I mean, I think one has just been sold for $1.2 million. So if you're a lucky person who owns a Toyota 2000 GT, you're in to make a lot of money. But over here, it's all about grabbing that part of the prize pool, the cash prize of 70,000 ringgit. And now, ladies and gentlemen, what say we go to the commentators, Ame and Izwan. They have been thoroughly impressed by race 1. So let's look forward to race 2, shall we, gentlemen? It's over to you.
Thank you, Naz. And yes, definitely looking forward to race 2 after what was the appetizer that which became the main meal for race 1. We're looking forward to even more so in race 2, and probably just desserts after this. Izwan, what was the most exciting thing, and what's in race 1? Who's the driver that stand out to you?
Okay, untuk race 1 saya memang memilih, saya memang menyatakan Rio Pandu Kusuma. Tetapi kalau kita membawa kepada perlumbaan di race yang kedua nanti, melihat kepada kedudukan grid, Putra Azwira akan bermula pada grid yang pertama untuk race yang kedua. Perlu diingat bahawa Putra Azwira dia pernah menamatkan perlumbaan di tempat yang kedua di peringkat suku akhir. Jadi dia juga adalah pelumba yang memang sememangnya memiliki kualiti, dan kita akan menjangkakan juga Cheong Kian Sin perlu bangkit selepas apa yang terjadi kepada dirinya dalam perlumbaan yang pertama, mendahului perlumbaan dengan sangat lama sebelum kesilapan, hilang fokus, terbabas. Akhirnya dia hanya di tempat yang ke-9, di tempat yang ke-8 kalau tak silap saya untuk Chun Kian Sin. Jadi ini adalah peluangnya menebus kembali apa yang berlaku pada race yang pertama.
Yep, redemption arc. And we might actually have a short interview to one of the drivers who was actually in the race. And in fact, that interview will probably be... No, it's not the drivers. It's actually the celebs interview. So we'll head over to that one right now.
Thanks very much, all of you guys in the control room. And the fun continues right here with me, Nazruddin Rahman, as we interview our next batch of Toyota Gazoo Racing celebrities. Who do we have here with us? Kita bersama-sama Nabil Ahmad, kita bersama dengan Talita dan juga Akhirin. Hi guys! Kita berjumpa secara virtual. Nabil, jangan senyum banyak sangat, nanti nampak gigi kau merah. And welcome to GR Velocity, guys. Saya tahu Nabil ni memang dah veteran. Dia dah race last season. Jadi tahun ni macam mana persiapan Nabil Ahmad untuk berlumba secara virtual?
Wow. Saya memang tak sabar because I beli the setup semua because I know this is going to happen. So because I memang tak nak miss any race kan, and I'm trying to impress the client also, Toyota, to still continue the contract kan. In any situation pun I'll still be in the race. So memang tak sabar lah bang sebenarnya. Tapi dia sebenarnya kebetulan memang ada the set up kan, the rigging apa benda semua. So tak sangka pula boleh join Velocity this year. Woo!
Who is your biggest contender since Nabil is racing in the Velocity race? Hello?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. Siapa lagi nak race di GR Velocity kalau bukan anda?
I think because Zizan is in the race, right? And I heard Shahnaz also is going to be joining us.
Wow.
Oh, did I spill some tea? Did I?
Syukri
I
dia.
say something that...
Oh, sebab dia macam ni, Syukri dengan Mambu dia best friend. Han tahulah macam mana kan?
Itulah pasal because saya pernah race dengan diorang bang. Hari tu. So diorang memang betul-betul terlalu inginkan dunia lah. Kemenangan dunia tu diorang memang
Terlalu inginkan duniawi, Nabil. Terlalu duniawi.
inginkan duniawi. So I think Zidan, Shukri, Akio is gonna be like my number one rival lah kan.
Okey baik. Kita kuncikan di sana siapa rival-rival ketat anda. Meanwhile for Talita and Ahirin, it's your first time in Toyota Gazoo Racing, and now you're going to see many of your celebrity friends racing virtually as well. Have you guys tried out the platform, Talita?
The online platform?
Yep.
I don't think I have, but I've tried virtual racing.
All right. So how's that experience for you?
Frustrating.
Is it tougher than driving a real car?
Well, at games, okay. I like to believe that I can drive the car very well. But when it comes to games, oh my gosh, it's a completely different story, man. I've tried it with VR also, like you know the feeling of like banging something and then it reverse, but you rasa macam you're not moving kan, so you get motion sickness. Terus nak, I'm like, oh god, I cannot do this.
Terus macam nak macam tu
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe you're not built for the virtual world, but Ahirin, you are a motorhead, you are a petrol head. So you've tried out the platform as well. Apa bezanya racing virtually atau cuba bawa kereta secara virtual dan secara real life?
I support you, Ahirin.
I think it's a different feel. Macam Talita cakap tadi, motion sickness. Masa I first main tu ada juga. Tapi all in all, it's fun but also very, very stressful because macam the lines and everything, it's kind of like, it's macam susah nak dapat. Mungkin tak cukup cheating time kan, sebab pergi pun sekali-sekala je. So tapi best lah, in terms of the experience memang best sebab I can imagine lah kalau macam practice on the sims and then bawa ke track, memang it really helps a lot.
So as someone yang dah biasa dengan motosikal dan juga kereta, you feel that virtual world really helps your performance in real life, yeah?
Definitely helps.
Yeah. Sebab
what would you like to say to your fans? I'll give you guys a chance. Talita, you start first.
Me? Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys join the virtual race because as hard and as frustrating as I say it is, it's a lot of fun. Memang best gila. It's like, everyone gets to participate, like from wherever you are, which is the best part kan. And yeah, it's still a form of experience. So yeah, hope everybody's staying safe and healthy.
Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Now, Ahiruddin, macam mana pula?
Okay, guys, don't forget to watch the grand final race. Make sure you guys support korang punya racer-racer yang korang minat lah. Macam biasa, I dengan Talita, kita orang akan sokong kita orang punya tak tahu nak panggil rivals ke
rakan seperjuangan,
celebrities lah, kawan-kawan ni, rakan-rakan seperjuangan ni.
Macam mana pula Nabil yang kompetitif pula, bagaimana kata-kata perangsang anda?
Okay, it's gonna be exciting lah bang. Saya pun memang tak sabar nak tunggu race ni, and it's gonna be different juga because before this kita tahu kan kita punya celebrity friends yang akan lumba dengan kita, and then to be on the ground, race real car, lain experience dia. So this time it's gonna be like kita tak tahu siapa-siapa yang akan join and how they, dia orang punya experience bawa kereta yang macam ni kan, game lah. So very very excited lah, and guys please watch this grand final race TGR terbaik.
Excellent. Kita akan lihat siapa yang bakal mewakili Malaysia di pesada dunia, insya-Allah. Thank you very much to our TGR celebrities. Keep on racing. Assalamualaikum semua. Thank you very much. Alright guys. That was our TGR celebrities. Well done. And some of them are trying it this virtual platform by actually racing in an exhibition match. Some of them are just trying out the platform and see whether it's something up their alley or not. But meanwhile, we've got our racers on standby already. So let's check in with them and let's check in with our commentators as well. Let's go.
Thanks for the interview, Naz, and a really lovely bunch of people there on screen, especially the fact that they're very recognizable to a lot of people in Malaysia to be the social media influencers, or KOLs as we call them. Now then, Nabil's take on this, he says that they are actually very competitive, so it kind of permeates through that despite it being part of sim racing, it's still pretty much competitive for them. They want to win this, do they?
Betul. Baik di track ke ataupun dalam dunia maya sendiri, kompetitif itu pasti ada yang nakkan kemenangan. Itulah yang ditampilkan oleh Nabil. Jadi terima kasih kepada Nabil, Ahir dan juga Talita kerana sudi untuk bersama-sama dengan kita meluangkan masa untuk memberikan pandangan mereka tentang perlumbaan pada musim ini yang sangat-sangat berbeza. Dan kita akan memperkatakan pula tentang perlumbaan yang kedua, dan kalau dilihat kepada barisan ataupun apa yang akan berlaku di perlumbaan yang kedua, perubahan grid terutamanya akan memperlihatkan Putra Azwira seperti mana yang saya katakan, dia akan berada di petak utama, di petak hadapan, dan kemudiannya untuk pelumba yang berada di kedudukan yang kedua ataupun di petak yang kedua nanti yang akan memperlihatkan Go Yingying yang akan berada di petak yang kedua. Dan bagi perlumbaan di race yang kedua ini, di mana menyaksikan mereka akan berlumba selama 30 minit.
Right, so race 1 we have 5 fuel and 5 tire. Race 2, fuel's 1 but tires 10. So we might have a possibility of 2 pit stops in this race for race 2. As Putra Azwira lines up on pole, he would like to make up for that disappointment in race 1. 3, 2, 1, we're underway. And again, the guy on pole position gets a good start, but the second phase of the start looks like he nearly dropped it a bit. But no, he actually takes the lead. Putra Azwira leads. Second is Go Wayne. Third is Chung. Fourth is Li Jia Ching. And fifth is Mu Xuanjing. So, top 5 then stay where they are. As below them, it's a bit of a shuffling there. But I think Mio has actually punched through. In fact, he's held on to it. He was starting right in P7. Now he's up to P6. The drivers are now heading up to the second sector of the lap. This is going to be interesting there. The fast guys are at the back.
Rio masih lagi berada di kedudukan yang ke-10. Tadi dia naik ke tempat yang ke-9 untuk Rio, dan ini adalah perubahan Mio Hafiz di kedudukan yang ke-7. Namun begitu untuk Uzair, dia sudah pun mula untuk mengejar pelumba-pelumba yang berada di hadapan, di mana Uzair di tempat yang ke-5 di bahagian pertengahan itu dia berada di belakang Li Jiacheng di tempat yang keempat, tetapi Putra Azwira jatuh ke kedudukan yang kedua di sini kerana Chung Kian Sin yang berada di depan. Persoalannya, apakah kali ini Kian Sin akan dapat bertahan?
Yeah, let's hope it's not deja vu what happened in the first race. That's what he will try to hope. And right now, in terms of strategy, we're looking at our timing screen. Softs and mediums are the order of the day, and Chung Kian Sing is actually on soft tires. So, he actually wants to sprint away quickly before he goes on to the medium tires. Oh, Putra Azwira, and he loses at the final corner. Again, everybody's Achilles heel is that final corner. He's lost it. We're going to get replay of what happened. He was following just behind Kian Sing. Chung there, safely through. While Azwira touches the grass a bit and loses it. Did he lose second position as well? Yes, he did. In fact, he's now in third place, while Uzai, from the back in ninth, is now up to fourth.
Satu lagi kesilapan dilakukan oleh Putra Azwira yang mana dia kini jatuh ke tempat yang ke-5 dengan Lee di tempat yang ke-6 cuba untuk meminta, tetapi perhatikan kepada Nabil Azlan yang sudah pun berada di kedudukan yang ke-4, tetapi saya tak dapat melihat di manakah Rio, adakah dia masih lagi berada di belakang untuk di tempat yang ke-9. Rio di tempat yang ke-9 ataupun di tempat yang ke-10. Aiman Hazim di kedudukan yang ke-10. Jadi Rio, pemenang perlumbaan yang pertama, masih lagi berada di kelompok belakang di tempat yang ke-9. Tetapi kita perlu ingat bahawa perlumbaan ini adalah selama 30 minit. Jadi masih lagi ada masa yang panjang, dan ada hentian pit yang perlu dilakukan oleh pelumba-pelumba. Itu yang akan merubah kedudukan pelumba itu nanti.
We saw that before. Remember Rio, especially at Brands Hatch, he actually made a strategy that was a bit alternate to the rest work, and he managed to keep his stars alive as Oli Ji Chiang has actually crashed into the barriers. I think he just touched the grass coming out of Woodcote, and he is out of it. So from 6th place here, let's see, touch a bit of grass and the gravel. Oh, that was enough to spin him right through the wall. In fact, he's gotten really bad damage, engine damage. So he's going to have to repair that car if he wants to rejoin the race. He's got an awful lot of work to do as we go back up to the live action. Yep, he's in the pits. Meanwhile, 6th place and 7th place, Mio Hafiz fighting with Go Ying Ying. And Go Wayne. Well, we can't call him Wayne because that's his English name. Wayne holding on to 6th place well here against Mio, and he's the cock in the bottle against the other drivers because he's holding out the 2 front runners from race 1. First and second in race 1 first and fourth in race 1 are behind him, and it's going to be proving to be a bit difficult to overtake this guy, but he's known to be quite fast too.
Mana bagi Li Jiacheng yang menamakan perlombaan di tempat yang ke-7 pada race yang pertama tadi. Jadi dia akan melalui satu halangan ataupun satu perjalanan yang sangat sukar untuk mencari tempat mara ke peringkat akhir. Tetapi kita perhatikan di sini kedudukan Rio masih lagi berada di tempat yang ke-9. Namun apa yang menarik adalah Nabil Azlan. Di perlumbaan pertama dia merupakan pelumba yang mencatatkan masa terpantas. Nampaknya perlumbaan yang kedua Nabil juga merekodkan catatan masa terpantas di dalam perlumbaan 1 minit 23.863, bermakna dia mengekalkan momentum yang dibawa dari perlumbaan yang pertama dibawanya ke perlumbaan yang kedua ini.
Absolutely, he's actually continued on his good form in terms of getting faster laps. But thing is though, you don't get points for fast lap. If he got points fast lap, this would be crucial. So unfortunately now he just has to focus on actually keeping up the good momentum that he had from race 1, which is the podium, and just focus on the race, not getting faster laps. At the moment, at least 4th place behind Uzay. Again, these two are almost inseparable. They're always together. And for that first round, first blood to Uzay because he got the better of him. But second race, he will not want to have the same thing happen to him.
Macam mana Magneck di antara Uzair dan juga Nabil Azlan yang masing-masing berlumba, masing-masing berada pada kedudukan yang sangat-sangat rapat, terutamanya di perlumbaan pertama, dan kali ini juga berlaku dalam aksi perlumbaan yang kedua. Uzair di tempat yang ketiga, Nabil Azlan di tempat yang keempat, dan kedudukan di tempat yang kedua masih lagi menjadi milik Mo Xuan Jing serta di kedudukan pertama Chun Kian Sin. Tetapi perlu diingat dia menggunakan tayar soft di awal perlumbaan ini yang memberikan kelajuan kepadanya, tetapi tayar soft akan meletakkan dirinya masuk ke pit lebih awal berbanding dengan pelumba-pelumba yang menggunakan medium tire di peringkat permulaan.
Indeed, and the fact that the medium tires can actually go even longer than halfway point, so the guys on the soft tires have to use that advantage. Oh, he nearly loses at the final corner again. He might have had PTSD for a second, Vietnam flashbacks even, but luckily he held that together and still holds on to lead by more than 1.9 seconds ahead of Mu Xuanjing, who's actually running medium tires as well. So 1.9 seconds is only advantage, and we all know the fast guys, if they're given the soft tires, they can immediately pull away. And we see that the two Magnet guys, who are normally like plus and minus, it's opposites attracting, and they're trying to go chase after Mu Xuanjing for a second. They're not far up behind actually.
Dan kalau kita saksikan juga Amir kepada Rajah, di mana grafik yang menunjukkan penggunaan tayar yang sedang dihadapi oleh pelumba-pelumba, kebanyakannya tayar yang di sebelah kiri akan lebih cepat haus berbanding dengan tayar di sebelah kanan. Adakah mungkin kerana Lita ini memiliki 6 selekoh di sebelah kanan?
Correct, because the more right-handers they are, the more the pressure is going to be put onto the left tires to perform. In this case, they're taking an absolute battering because 10 times tire wear is like going 10 times around the circuit, but on that very same lap. So the left tires are taking an absolute beating. They're going to have to watch out that the most, particularly the front left tire, not just both sides, but it's the front left they have to worry the most.
Jadi kerana itu situasi yang perlu diambil kira oleh pelumba-pelumba dalam perlumbaan yang kedua ini, kerana 30 minit mereka perlu mengatur di manakah atau bilakah mereka akan masuk ke pit untuk melakukan pertukaran tayar, kerana itu akan memberikan perubahan yang sangat besar dalam menentukan kedudukan. Dan kita perhatikan persaingan di tempat yang ke-5 dan juga di tempat yang ke-6. Putra Azwira yang kini berada di tempat yang ke-6 selepas melihat kepada Go Yiying yang berjaya untuk memintasnya. Di sini Go perlu untuk mencari kedudukan yang terbaik kerana dia setakat ini hanya mengumpul 2 mata selepas menamatkan perlumbaan di tempat yang ke-9 dalam perlumbaan yang pertama. Putra Azwira sekali lagi nampaknya bermasalah kerana Mior Hafiz pula yang berjaya memintasnya. Jadi Putra Azwira jatuh ke tempat yang ke-7 dan kita masih lagi belum dapat melihat di manakah Rio, pelumba yang memenangi perlumbaan yang pertama. Apakah yang berlaku dengan Rio kerana dia terkandas, tersekat di kedudukan yang ke-9. Apakah yang digunakan oleh Rio dengan gentlenya? Okey, dia menggunakan medium dalam permulaan di race yang kedua ini.
He's not that far away though, because he's only in 9th place right now, and he's only about, I think, 4 seconds behind these guys. So if on medium tires, and he could actually utilize his softs very well, he could still be in a very good position to actually capitalize on this. So you never know what's going to happen between this group of Nabi Aslan, Mior Hafiz, Putra Azwira, as we see Ayman Hazard going through Wayne there for a second. Oh, that's a big accident! A big accident, big way there. Who was that? That's Putra Azwira, isn't it? Unbelievable! He's having the worst day possible, and that's not the kind of accident we can expect it, because you can expect the car to lose it to the front. Yep, he touched the grass a bit, into the barriers, and the game resets himself. Disastrous day so far, and he was last in that first race. He's not going to get that many points, isn't it? He's going to be really on the back foot. In fact, he's going to pit now because look, engine damage, similar to what happened to Li Jiaqing. Wow, I think we can safely say 9th and 10th is dead set confirmed.
Ini akan menyukarkan lagi peluang untuk Putra Azwira melangkah ke peringkat akhir selepas dia hanya memiliki 1 mata. Dia menamatkan perlumbaan di tempat yang terakhir dalam race yang pertama dan kali ini berada di kedudukan yang terakhir dalam race yang kedua selepas apa yang berlaku dengan mengalami kemalangan untuk berada di tempat yang ke-10. Dan berdasarkan kepada apa yang anda saksikan tadi, Amir, apa yang berlaku sebenarnya dengan Putra Azwira? Kita melihat dia hilang kawalan terutamanya di bahagian belakang.
Yeah, because he came out to the chicane, he touched that rear left tire on the grass, and the car just lost balance because he put all the way to the front, and as a result it just pendulumed his way into the barrier. So very unfortunate that he touched the grass at the worst possible time and crashed into the barriers. Now he's got an awful lot to do, or we can almost safely say it, he's out of reckoning. He just needs an absolute miracle right now to actually still qualify in that top 5. As we look at Muhammad Uzay, who was at the back in qualifying race 1, managed to make his way out to second. Now he's fighting for second again with Mu Xuanjing, but this guy who's part of the Ava racing team will not make it easy for him either.
Saya sedang memburu pelumba yang berada di tempat yang kedua, iaitu Mu Xuanjing untuk tempat 2 dan juga 3. Masih lagi Uzair mencari peluang yang terbaiknya untuk memintas, cuba masuk dari bahagian dalam. Kali ini Uzair belum cukup sebelum menuju ke Seleko dan dapat dipertahankan oleh Mu Xuanjing untuk kekal di tempat yang kedua. Tetapi akan menjadi persoalan berapa lamakah dia mampu untuk bertahan, kerana kita perhatikan agak agresif juga cara pemanduan yang dilakukan oleh Uzair dalam perlumbaan yang kedua ini, dan kita tahu dia memiliki kemampuan untuk memintas pelumba yang berada di hadapannya.
And indeed, and the fact that Uzay, he's known to be very canny in the way he drives. Defends decently well, because we don't have to say that he's an aggressive defender, but he defends well enough that he doesn't let anybody by. But when he's behind somebody, he flashes. Unfortunately, the headlights are not being shown this time, but it looks as though he's going to get the inside. Yes, he's actually flashed the headlights, so he's making sure that Mu knows that he's there. And he goes on the inside, coming through Woodgood. Easy move. Mu Xuanjing didn't put up much of a fight, but actually he looks like he's coming back at him. And is he gonna try the chicane? No way, no. Chicane is almost an impossible place to move. And now Uzay might want to set in sights on Chung Kian Sing, who had an awful race 1, to be actually now battling each other for first and second. This is going to be good here. How well can Uzay make up for the tyre deficit on medium tyres to chase again on softs?
Okay, Rio sudah pun masuk ke pit. Apakah Rio sudah pun antara pelumba yang melakukan hentian pit? Kita akan sahkan sebentar lagi, tetapi kita perhatikan di sini pelumba yang berada di tempat yang kedua, Uzair, yang cuba untuk mengejar Chung yang berada di hadapan dengan perbezaan 2.4 saat, 2.41 saat di antara Uzair dan juga Chung untuk berebutan di tempat yang pertama. Kedua-duanya akan melakukan hentian pit sebentar lagi. Kita menyangkakan Chung terutamanya kerana dia menggunakan soft tire berbanding dengan Uzair, mungkin di sini akan memberikan sedikit kelebihan kerana Uzair dijangka akan bertahan lebih lama di atas litar berbanding dengan Chung untuk dia mencari satu jarak yang selesa dan merampas kedudukan yang pertama. Itu segalanya akan bergantung kepada strategi yang akan digunakan oleh pelumba-pelumba. Nabil Azlan di tempat yang keempat, Muir Hafiz di kedudukan yang kelima.
And now we're going back to Rio with his tyres. He's on soft, so he's going to try to make a two-stop, I would hazard a guess. As now we look at Muir Hafiz versus Nabil Azlan. Nabil then battling against two of the best drivers in the Malaysian GT sports scene, where they have actually finished first and second back in 2018 in the very first edition of the Velocity Esports Championship. And look at that, Nabil's actually carrying a bit of damage as Mio goes into the pits on lap 9. A bit of damage there on Nabil Azlan's car, so no wonder he's having a bit of disadvantage in terms of speed, because look at that, it's flashing on indicators. So a bit of struggle with the handling, but nonetheless still going well, as two drivers apart from Mio is Wayne also in the pits. So onto medium tires, stays on medium, no, it's soft actually. So Mio is on the soft tires.
Mio akan menjagakan dia. Mio bakal melakukan catatan masa yang lebih baik dengan penggunaan tayar soft yang dia pilihnya untuk meneruskan perlumbaan. Kita akan menantikan dan juga menyaksikan di mana masih lagi panjang, ada 16 minit lebih untuk pelumba-pelumba ini, dengan Chong masih lagi bertahan di tempat yang pertama. Bilakah dia akan masuk ke pit? Anda jangkakan untuk pendahulu perlumbaan kita ketika itu Chong yang berada di tempat yang pertama ini?
I will have to guess halfway point, because some of the drivers that enter, especially Rio, he's one of the very first with 18 minutes left to go. We're only 12 minutes into the race, so that's very early. He might actually have to do 2 pit stops here, while for guys like Uzair, who's probably on the default strategy of going mediums then onto the softs, there's a bit of a wiggle coming through Woodcourt there. Guy behind him, Mushu Wanjing, also on mediums, and Nabil Azlan also on mediums, so they're going to go through for the halfway mark and pit. But for Chung Kian Sing to be out in front here with the soft tyres, and in fact he's coming in now, he might switch to mediums. It might actually be a good strategy for him, because he can actually have more grip towards the end, as the top 4, all of them come into the pits on the same lap.
Jadi ini akan merubah kedudukan pelumba-pelumba di pertengahan perlumbaan race yang kedua. Aiman Hazim yang kini berada di tempat yang pertama. Untuk Aiman Hazim, tetapi itu akan berubah sekali lagi. Namun bagi Aiman, dia dilihat antara yang berpeluang untuk sekurang-kurangnya memperbaiki prestasi, memperbaiki kedudukannya, menambahkan perlumbaan di tempat yang ke-6 dalam race yang pertama tadi. Mio Hafiz di tempat yang ke-5, di mana kita melihat Mio menggunakan soft tire, dan dijangka dia akan lebih pantas berbanding sebelum ini, kerana sebelum ini dia menggunakan medium tire. Dan di sinilah yang akan menentukan di manakah kedudukan dia Mio Hafiz menuju ke akhir perlumbaan nanti dengan penggunaan tayar soft. Dan Uzair di tempat yang kedua, perbezaan 11 saat untuk dia berada di belakang Aiman, tetapi Aiman akan masuk ke pit. Jadi Uzair yang nampaknya strateginya lebih berkesan untuk dia merampas kedudukan, kerana Chung jatuh di tempat yang ketiga.
I think we saw that on our second screen. Unfortunately, we don't have a replay of that. It's because Chung went off coming through Matchwick, so the cold tyres slightly playing a factor there. He went off wide. Amazingly, he didn't get damage onto his car, so he could actually survive another day and try to get his crucial point. Oh, he nearly spins. He crosses. His tyres got crossed for a second and loses for third place. Oh, he's not really having a good time a bit on the medium tyres, I would say. He's so used to having the soft tyres for a long time that he goes on to mediums, he nearly gets squirrely there. Wow, luckily, amazing car control, got it together, but at the expense of losing position, and he might lose another one here because it's Mio Hafiz right behind him. So, wow, he can't catch a break, can he? He really cannot catch a break today.
Perlu diingat, Chung mengalami satu kemalangan yang agak besar di perlumbaan yang pertama tadi. Jadi nampaknya dia sekali lagi hampir-hampir berdepan dengan masalah di perlumbaan yang kedua untuk Chung Kian Sin yang merupakan pendahulu sebelum ini. Nabil Azlan naik ke tempat yang ketiga. Muir Hafiz di kedudukan yang keempat. Nabil dan juga Mio bersebelahan. Mio di bahagian dalam yang akan memberikan kelebihan kepada Mio untuk dia merampas semula kedudukan di tempat yang ketiga. Nabil 4 dan Chung Kian Sing cuba untuk memintas Nabil, tetapi ruang yang sukar untuk Chung melakukannya, dan Nabil bertahan di tempat yang keempat.
2 positions in the space of 1 lap, and 3 if you include the fact that it's within 2 laps. Not a good time for Chung Kian Sing on those medium tyres, but he will have the advantage towards the end because his medium tyres can last, while the soft tyre runners will have to start doing some conservation. As now, we're going to have a really good battle here between Mio Hafiz and Nabil Azlan. Again, another ERD driver just can't seem to lose Nabil Azlan. He said that this is his first ever appearance in the TVEC Championship, and also for his very first few hours into GT Sport, but he's doing it as if he's a pro. He's never been away from the game at all, actually, the way he drives it. He can still maintain it with the best.
Jadi ini kita bersama dengan pelumba yang berada di tempat yang ketiga, Mior Hafiz. Di belakangnya adalah Nabil Azlan, 0.5 saat di antara kedua-dua pelumba ini, Nabil dan juga Mior Hafiz. Nabil mahu naik ke tempat yang ketiga, sekurang-kurangnya bagi dia mengulangi pencapaian apa yang dilakukannya pada perlumbaan yang pertama tadi, iaitu menamatkan saingan di kedudukan yang ketiga yang akan memberikannya tambahan 15 lagi mata untuk menuju ke race yang ketiga nanti. Tetapi Mior Hafiz juga tidak mahu melepaskan peluang kerana dia berada pada kedudukan 12 mata selepas perlumbaan yang pertama, dan tambahan 15 mata seandainya kedudukan ini kekal, tentunya juga akan memberikan peluang yang lebih cerah kepada Mior Hafiz untuk mara ke peringkat akhir. Namun untuk Chung Kian Sin, sesuatu perlu dilakukannya. Dua perlumbaan pertama di depan mendahului, begitu juga dengan di awal perlumbaan yang kedua ini. Tetapi perhatikan kepada kedudukan yang kini di tempat yang kelima. Apakah dia sekali lagi hilang fokus? Hampir-hampir ada lagi Amir. Nampaknya Chung mengalami masalah untuk mengawal jenteranya.
Yeah, you're right. He's really on the edge here. And I would have to say, look at that. He nearly actually crashes on the start-finish straight. What is going on right now? And what's still for him, behind him, is Ryo Kazuma. So Ryo then has the opportunity to take away 5th place here and consolidate his chances of qualifying for the grand final. Kian Singh then just can't catch a break at all. The car is just not underneath him at the moment, and some really squirrely moments, especially in race 1 and now race 2, will definitely dent his confidence in trying to go into race 3.
Okay, Chung, come on Chung. Perlu lebih fokus dalam pemanduannya kerana ini adalah sangat penting. Ini adalah perlumbaan yang kedua dan dia tidak melakukan yang terbaik pada perlumbaan yang pertama dengan hanya mengutip 4 mata selepas berada di kedudukan yang ke-8. Dan kita perhatikan ada di sini Nabil Azlan akan cuba mencari ruang dari bahagian dalam untuk memintas Mior Hafiz menuju ke laluan lurus yang mana kelajuan mereka di 11 straight itu boleh mencecah sehingga 170 mph kilometer ataupun 170 untuk melepasi dan juga mencatatkan top speed di laluan lurus itu tadi. Dan Nabil Azlan masih lagi berada di tempat yang keempat di belakang Mio bertahan dengan baik untuk mereka menuju ke seleko yang pertama bagi memasuki 11 corner. Dan kita berada di Medwick corner sebenarnya di seleko yang pertama, dan anda melihat apa yang dilakukan oleh Mior Hafiz untuk bertahan di tempat yang ketiga.
Coming out to Medwick then, in fact that he held the inside line slightly to prevent Nabil to get him. And of course, another wily character in the esports scene, sim racing in particular, because Mior Hafiz, he actually has won sim racing competitions before. He knows what he's doing. He's kind of go up against this pretender who might be the future of sim racing. As the cars slide around coming through St. Mary's, that's a corner that you can easily see people go off because you touch the grass. Now they're coming up to Levant corner onto the Levant back straight. Nabil, a few laps has actually tried to make a move on the inside and tries outside as well, because he is known for actually just ducking in and out, and he even flashes headlights. Just can't get through.
Dua-duanya menggunakan tayar soft. Jadi dari segi penggunaan tayar tidak ada perbezaan di antara Nabil dan juga Mior Hafiz masing-masing, dengan akan memberikan satu kelajuan yang baik untuk masa mereka, terutamanya ketika akan ketika melalui 11 straight. Dan kemudiannya di situlah akan menyaksikan perbezaan cara kawalan jentera masing-masing kendalian di chicane ini, terutamanya yang sangat penting apabila keluar dan seandainya anda melalui ataupun berada di melepasi chicane melalui kawasan rumput itu, dan itu akan memberikan sedikit masalah dari segi kawalan dan akan memberikan ruang kepada pelumba untuk melintas. Tapi sekarang ini Mior Hafiz dan juga Nabil Azlan masing-masing melakukan yang terbaik untuk mereka bertahan di tempat ketiga dan juga di tempat yang keempat.
Yeah, the fact that I think that damage on the front left corner of Nabil's car is actually causing him a bit of a straight line deficit, because the amount of times that he's been behind Mio in the draft, he just can't get through. Mio, yes, to his credit, also good defending, but it's just that damage that he had from whichever contact at the start of the race is just proving to be a detriment to him. And I'm amazed that he didn't actually repair the damage in the pits, because it's only costing 1 or 2 seconds. It's just that quick in the repairs of GT Sport. He didn't take the opportunity to repair the car, and now he has to suffer staying behind Mio. No dirty air here in these cars because there's no aerodynamics, obviously, but it's just that he just can't have the straight line speed. Look, full pelt, just can't get through at all.
Itulah kerosakan di sebelah kiri di bahagian hadapan untuk Nabil Azlan yang sedikit sebanyak akan mempengaruhi kelajuan keretanya untuk memintas Mior Hafiz, tetapi kredit juga perlu diberikan oleh Mior Hafiz kerana terus fokus dalam pemanduan untuk memastikan tempat yang keempat ini dapat dipertahankan. Sedikit tersasar daripada Mior, dan itu perlu digunakan sebaik mungkin oleh Nabil untuk memintas menuju ke seleko yang pertama ini.
We have to look at just now whether or not this is the WRC or this is actually racing in the Toyota Velocity Esports Championship. He literally went rally crossing even, because that was lucky. He managed to get momentum up and didn't get a corner cutting penalty for that. Very expensive. Look at that, coming out of Matchwick. Nabil's on the inside. He finally has a momentum and a run on him and gets third place at last. But will it be for long? Because Mio might actually have the inside line as they come through St. Mary's. No, actually the inside line's going to come up a bit longer than that. Look at that. Nabil holds on to third, and now he can try to set his sights on Mu Xuanjing. But with about 6.5 minutes left to go, 2.3 seconds may be a bridge too far.
Akhirnya Nabil Azlan dapat juga memintas Mior Hafiz. Apakah segala-galanya bermula dengan kesilapan yang dilakukan oleh Mio ketika di chicane tadi?
Yes, I have to agree, because he went onto the chicane, went wide, and suddenly the car just lost momentum because it's on the grass, so he just couldn't get out of it in time. And in turn, Nabil with the better drive and momentum out of the last corner, carried that all the way to the next turn and managed to get ahead.
Itu yang berlaku untuk Nabil Azlan, berada di tempat yang ketiga. Kali ini dia cuba untuk bertahan di laluan, mengambil laluan di sebelah luar sedikit dan melalui chicane dilepasi dengan baik oleh Nabil, dan itu akan menutup ruang buat Mior Hafiz untuk merampas semula kedudukan di tempat yang ketiga. Dan di antara Nabil Azlan serta Mu Xuanjing, kita perhatikan tidaklah begitu jauh kedudukan di antara dua pelumba ini, dengan berbaki 5 minit 20 saat yang terakhir bagi perlumbaan yang kedua. Apakah mungkin ada kesempatan untuk Nabil Azlan naik ke tempat yang kedua? Tetapi di sini Rio Pandukusuma, pemenang perlumbaan yang pertama, berada di tempat yang ke-6. Di hadapannya adalah Chun Kian Sin, masih lagi bertahan untuk Chun Kian Sin, dan kita tidak dapat mengetahui apakah yang berlaku dengan Rio Pandukusuma kerana ini bukanlah karakternya. Kalau diperhatikan kepada Rio, dia adalah pelumba yang boleh meminta seorang demi seorang pelumba, tetapi di awal saingan perlumbaan yang kedua dia tersekat di kedudukan yang ke-9. Namun kali ini dia berada di tempat yang ke-6 dan boleh untuk naik ke tempat yang ke-5.
So coming up then on the Levant straight, the back straight here as they come up to Woodcote. He looks on the inside, no damage to his car as either compared to what happened to Nabil Azlan, but no speed. Look at that. He just comes around side now and outbreaks Chun Kian Sing coming into Woodcote corner. Easy move, no histrionics there, just getting on with it. And with these soft tires that are going to run out towards the end here, he had to make that move quick, otherwise he had no opportunity left as he goes onto the cross. That won't help one bit. That's going to make the tires even worse than before.
Jarang kita melihat Rio akan terbabas seperti itu, tetapi inilah yang berlaku untuk Rio di perlumbaan yang kedua. Itu akan sedikit sebanyak menutup peluangnya untuk mendekati dan juga merapati pelumba yang berada di tempat yang keempat, iaitu Mior Hafiz yang berada di kedudukan yang keempat, dan Nabil Azlan kini sudah pun mula untuk menjarakkan diri bagi mengatasi dan juga meninggalkan Mior Hafiz. Untuk Nabil Azlan di kedudukan yang ketiga, sebaik saja dia meminta Semio, dan ini adalah satu kedudukan yang sangat baik untuk Nabil Azlan. Begitu juga dengan Uzair, yang nampaknya Uzair masih lagi selesa di tempat yang pertama. 3.77 saat adalah peluang yang terbaik untuk Uzair memenangi perlumbaan yang kedua.
A bit of a boring race compared to the first. It was much more exciting in the first because we had a battle between the top 6. But the second race, not completely boring. It's just like, is it more intriguing? It's just that the action is not as close as we would have expected. But nonetheless, intriguing that it's in the championship stakes. Uzai's going to be in the front seat. He's going to be first wherever they finish right now. And Ryo Kusuma has a lot of work to do here to actually try and claw back the deficit from what can be said was a bit of a disappointing race too. He just couldn't make out the positions as quickly as Uzai, Mio and Nabil did to be out in front right now. He's only just on the halfway mark of the top 10, so not a good second race for him. He'll be looking forward to be driving around Bathurst in the Supra after this. If we look further behind the field, Jung Kian Sing in 6th, 7th is Go Wing, 8th is Ahmed Hazing, 9th is Li Jiaqing, and 10th, well, 9th and 10th they're going at battle side by side on the Laban Straight, but they're trying to prevent from getting the wooden spoon here. Very bad day for both of these guys.
Putra Azwira cuba untuk naik ke tempat yang ke-9 dan masuk dari bahagian dalam dan berjaya melepasi Li Jiaqing untuk naik ke kedudukan yang ke-9 bagi Putra Azwira. Dia bermula dari grid yang pertama dalam perlumbaan yang kedua ini, melakukan kesilapan apabila terbabas satu kemalangan yang agak besar dialami oleh Putra Azwira yang memaksanya masuk ke pit untuk membaki jentera, dan kali ini dia di tempat yang ke-9 di mana dia naik satu anak tangga berbanding dengan perlumbaan yang pertama. Dia menamakan saingan di tempat yang ke-10. Tetapi kedudukan ini pastinya agak sukar untuk Putra Azwira mencari tempat ke peringkat akhir. Ryo Pandu Kusuma di kedudukan yang ke-5. Dia sudah pun meninggalkan Chun Kian Sin di tempat yang ke-6 dengan perbezaan yang agak selesa pada perlumbaan yang hanya berbaki kurang dari 2 minit untuk ditamatkan ini. Dan Chung terpaksa sekali lagi akur biarpun pada satu ketika dia mendahului untuk berada di tempat yang pertama. Nabil Azlan di kedudukan yang ke-3, dan jika berjaya mempertahankan kedudukan ini akan menyaksikan Nabil Azlan akan mengutip 30 mata untuk dibawa ke perlumbaan yang ke-3. Satu pengutan mata yang nampak selesa yang akan memberikan ruang kepada Nabil Azlan mara ke peringkat akhir nanti.
Yeah, I will hazard to guess as well. The top 3, all these guys who are finishing in the positions they are right now in that first race, in the top 5, will be safe for the second race, for the third race for sure, because they got enough points. The real pressure will be on the guys in 4th and 5th because they're on the bubble. If they were to slip out in that last race, it could open up the door for the guys in 6th and 7th to get through. So, in this case right now, guys like Mio and Mu Xuanjing, they're helping their cause here by finishing 2nd and 4th, but it will put pressure on the guys in 2nd and 3rd here, besides Uzai, who's actually well ahead now, to actually buck up and try and prevent the absolute catastrophe in that final race.
Mu Xuanjing dengan 10 mata dari perlumbaan yang pertama selepas berakhir di tempat yang ke-5, dan kali ini akan dijangka akan menambah 18 lagi mata untuk dibawa ke perlumbaan yang ke-3. Jadi 28 mata akan dipungut oleh Mu Xuanjing, dan itu akan menjadikan perlumbaan yang ke-3 nanti bertambah menarik dengan Uzair akan memulakan lap yang terakhir untuk Uzair. Dia dengan 18 mata, dan kemenangan akan menyaksikan tambah 25 lagi mata untuk Uzair menjadi antara calon yang terbaik bagi mara ke peringkat akhir. Tetapi kita perlu ingat ada satu perlumbaan lagi selepas ini. Nabil Azlan.
Sorry, the race is done apparently, because I think they just crossed the line, so the
Yeah,
cars actually
okay.
stopped. Okay.
Uzair.
The rest of the field has actually stopped, but Uzai is still going on. So what's going on here? This is actually quite weird. Oh no, wait, never mind. He's actually stopping now because look, the race is ending. But yes, race has ended, and Uzai has claimed it. 3.2 seconds. Who would have thought it? We thought that in qualifying for race 1, him being on the back foot, he would not be in this position, but he is now, and he is in the driving seat to qualify for the grand finals.
Jadi 25 mata untuk Uzair selepas penamat di tempat yang pertama, dan dia menamatkan saingan di tempat yang kedua pada perlumbaan yang pertama. Jadi Uzair memenangi, adalah pemenang kita di perlumbaan yang kedua separuh akhir kumpulan B. Dan di tempat yang kedua adalah Mu Xuanjing. Jadi dia akan menambah 18 lagi mata. Nabil Azlan mengulangi apa yang dilakukannya pada perlumbaan yang pertama untuk berada di tempat yang ketiga. Jadi Nabil akan mengumpul 30 mata daripada kedua-dua perlumbaan. Mior Hafiz di kedudukan yang keempat. Jadi Hafiz juga seperti mana perlumbaan yang pertama di tempat yang keempat, itulah yang berlaku kepada Hafiz di kedudukan yang keempat, dan pemenang perlumbaan di tempat di perlumbaan yang pertama itu Ryo Pandu Kusuma kali ini di kedudukan yang kelima.
So to run through the results here of weird ending to the race, but here it is. Uzai from Mu Xuanjing, Nabil Azlan, 2 consecutive third places, does him well. 4th for Mia Hafiz again, and 5th will be Rio Kusuma, race 1 winner. So he'll be a bit disappointed that he finished at the middle part of the top 10 after a fantastic win race 1. 6 is Chung Kian Singh, making up for the disaster race 1. 7 would go Wayne. 8th Aiman Hazim. 9th is Putra Azwira, and 10th is Lee Jia Ching. So that's the top 10 for race 2, and we'll get back to the studio with Naz. Take it away, Naz.
Thanks, Amir, and thanks, Izwan. What an I gotta admit, race 2 wasn't as exciting as race 1, but I think the magnetism between Mohammad Uzair and Nabil Azlan cannot be denied, and I think that's some of the best highlights from race 1 and race 2. And speaking of which, we are here with the 19-year-old once again. Of course, in our earlier interview, he came across as a very sweet boy, doesn't have a mean bone in his body, and I was actually doubting, does this guy have an aggressive streak to go the whole 9 yards? Well, apparently he does. Nabil Azlan, congratulations on your placing. How are you feeling at this moment in time?
Pretty good, I guess. Yeah, I didn't have the most cleanest race in race 2, but yeah, I'm happy to finish both third places in race 1 and 2.
Yeah, well done. Did you expect this? Did you expect such stiff competition, especially from Mohammad Uzair in the first race?
Yeah. I was fighting with Uzair a lot in race 1 and race 2, and yeah, he was pretty fast in this track. So yeah, I was always following him because he was, I think, a bit faster than me. So I used him as a base, so I could just follow him throughout the whole race, and maybe at one point try to overtake him, but yeah, he just got the end of it. So yeah.
I think you're just being modest. You were on his tail from the start. You were in his slipstream from the start. You were changing positions from the start. And so do you feel that Mohammad Uzair will be your strongest contender going into race 3?
Yeah, for sure. I think Uzair has a lot of talent as well. So yeah, he's going to be one of the rivals I have. I think so. So yeah, hopefully for this last race in Mount Panorama, hopefully I'll be ahead of him.
Well, compared to your skills with the GR Supra and compare yourself with the Toyota 2000 GT, what was the best parts and the worst parts about driving a vintage car like that?
Had so much road. The car was like leaning all over the place, but yeah, the car is pretty fun to drive on. So yeah, it's not really drive a vintage car in these races. So nice to race them.
Excellent. Of course, everyone was on the same par. And one of the drivers that didn't get a whiff of you in the second race is Rio Pandukusuma, who came in first in the first race. Do you feel that he'll be more of a threat moving into the race 3?
Yeah, we're going to a different category of cars, so maybe a lot might change as well. Some drivers might want to drive, might like the Supra as well. So yeah, we'll see from then on.
Alright, before we close off the interview, I'll speak a little bit about strategy. Of course, this race 2 was 30 minutes. Did you feel that your strategy was the one that let you down or prevented you from getting a better placing?
No, actually, I had damage. I had suspension damage. So my front left was eating a lot of the tires. So besides all the other 3 tires, the front left was eating the most. So I was surprised that I could actually fight with Mio, because I thought Mio might just fly off to the distance, but then I was maintaining the gap between him. So yeah, maybe in Mount Panorama I might have to be a bit cautious and try to be a bit more cleaner throughout the race. So
I'll give you a bit of inside info, Nabil. Actually, on that track, everybody's front left tire had the most damage, simply because there were 6 right turns out of 7. So actually everyone was the same par. Mio was actually nowhere near you when it comes to pacing. So hey, big pat on yourself, pat on the back for yourself, yeah? Alright, congratulations once again. Looking forward to your race in Bathurst Down Under. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was Nabil Azlan, third place in both races. Only 19 years old. What a precocious talent as well. So I tell you what, to really take a look at how technical this boy is and how much potential he has, let's take a look at race 2 highlights.
Rangkuman untuk perlombaan yang kedua, di mana kita menyaksikan di awal perlombaan di petak pertama yang bermula ialah Putra Azwira. Dia berjaya untuk bertahan seketika sebelum melakukan kesilapan dan akhirnya dia jatuh ke tempat yang ke-6. Dan sekali lagi, Chun Kian Singh yang mendahului perlombaan ini. Sementara itu diikuti oleh Mu Xuanjing di tempat yang kedua dan Uzair antara pelumba yang sangat-sangat cemerlang di perlumbaan yang kedua kerana dia bermula dari petak yang ke-9 dan akhirnya dia tidak memerlukan masa yang lama untuk berada di kelompok hadapan dan mula untuk berada di depan, terutamanya selepas melakukan hentian pit. Dan di tempat yang kedua adalah Mo Xuan Jing, dan kedudukan yang ketiga Nabil Azlan bersaing dengan Mir Hafiz sebelum Nabil berjaya memintas Mir Hafiz untuk naik ke tempat yang ketiga. Dan di sinilah Nabil Azlan melakukan gerak untuk naik ke tempat yang ketiga, dan selepas itu dia terus memecut laju meninggalkan Mir Hafiz di tempat yang keempat. Tiada masalah untuk Uzair memenangi perlumbaan yang pertama yang menentukan yang kedua ini untuk berada di tempat yang pertama, dan di tempat yang kedua Nabil Azlan di kedudukan yang ketiga.
So here are the results then for Group B, and we're going through championship standing straight away because we already ran through the results at the end of the race. But Uzai has taken the lead in the standings for Group B here. 43 points, 8 points ahead of Rio Bandakusuma with 35. So that second race, not to say fiasco, but performance that actually was a bit disappointing on his standards has actually cost him the lead. So he might want to actually get back at Uzai for the third, with Nabil Azlan third, 30 points because of his third places. Mo Xuan Jing fourth, Mir Hafiz is on the bubble here. Mir Hafiz on the bubble with 24 points, 12 ahead of Ayman Hazim in 6th. Chung Kian Sing finally gets his points up beyond 10 on 12th. Go Ye Ying 7 with 7 points for Li Jiaqing, and Putra Azwira running up the entire field after having 2 abysmal races.
Thank you very much for the little commentary there. So Izwan, Ame and myself, we're going to take a quick break right here, ladies and gentlemen, but not to worry. I think just to round up race 2 and race 1, I think the most unfortunate driver at this time is Mr. Chung Kian Sing. He must be really he's really being hard on himself at this point in time, letting pole position slip away from his hands. But there's still one more chance. Race 3 coming up. The track is Bathurst and the car, the GR Supra. All this after the break.
The GR86 is a fantastic drive. It goes up the hill so quickly, sharp and snappy.
It looked quick, which is always a plus. I like the way it looked going up the hill. Elegant.
Continues the legacy of the 86.
I love it, it's such a beautiful bike.
So my first ever Goodwood Festival of Speed has been an incredible experience.
Goodwood's been amazing.
We started our test program in Finland. We've done shakedown running and system checks over there. So the Rally 1 regulations for 2022 have some big changes from what we've seen in the last few years. Probably the most important one is the introduction of a hybrid system. So along with the combustion engine, we also have a hybrid system to deliver an extra boost of torque. And secondarily, we have a completely new chassis design, so introducing a step forwards in FIA regulations in terms of the safety of WRC cars, and all of those features are integrated into our Rally 1 car. It's a really exciting project because so many things have changed. We've had to go back to the drawing board on almost the complete car and all of the systems, and it's been a real pleasure to work with our excellent team of engineers, designers and technicians to get this car ready. And now we're here on the stages in Portugal to put the car through its paces on European gravel roads and really start to experience what the World Rally Championship has to show for a WRC car. We're going to collect a lot of data and go back to our base in Finland, where our engineers and designers will go through all of that information to prepare the next steps of the development. which will take place in Finland and also around other test sites in Europe until the end of the year, when we will homologate the car ready for Monte Carlo and the 2022 season.
All that's left now is a 200-kilometre plus stage, and we're going to Jeddah today.
It hasn't sunk in yet. 12 days of racing. It's been awesome. It's up and down. We had issues in the start, but we just overcome that and kept on pushing. And we're here at the end.
Also, a lot of time lost. And yeah, it was a difficult rally, but you know, it's always good to finish in that car. We never give up. We got a strong car on the Hilux. You know, NASA showed that with these stage ones, we could win a stage, which was positive for us.
Disappointed, you know, also to finish second place in second year of Dakar in Saudi, you know, because normally we can win Dakar last year and this year. I'm really proud of the teams and thankful for everything what the teams make for Toyota.
Terima kasih kerana terus bersama kami di Toyota Gazoo Racing Velocity Esports Championship 2021 edisi yang keempat. Terima kasih kepada UMW Toyota kerana membawakan acara racing simulation terbesar di negara kita, dan kita baru saja menyaksikan race 1 dan race 2. Yang unggul di sini Encik Muhammad Uzair kita yang pernah menjadi juara suatu ketika lalu dan kini mengorak langkah semula. Will he be able to taste success once again? Well, it remains to be seen. There's 2 races down, 1 more race to go to find out who will make their way to the grand final and have a chance at the prize pot that's worth 70,000 ringgit. All right, commentators, I'm sure you guys are excited. We're going into race 3 right about now. It's over to you, Izwan and Ame.
Thank you for that, Naz. Yeah, we are absolutely shaking in our boots right now because it's Bathurst.
Yes.
Mount Panorama, one of the world's best circuits, and it's definitely one of the drivers' favorites here to race on. And we got a completely different car for this one, which is the GR Supra Racing concept. It's a completely at-home car, shall we say, because it's a GT3 car racing at a circuit that was meant for GT3s. Izwan, what do you think of that car and track combo?
Betul, dengan perubahan jentera yang akan mereka guna ataupun kereta yang akan mereka pakai nanti, iaitu Toyota GR Supra Racing Concepts 2018 yang tentunya akan meminta ataupun akan menyaksikan pelumba-pelumba mungkin akan melakukan perubahan bukan dari segi kepada kata jentera, tetapi perubahan dari segi cara pemanduan. Kerana sangat berbeza, kita berubah daripada jentera sebelum ini iaitu 2000 GT kepada Supra ini. Apakah perbezaan yang mungkin akan berlaku kepada pelumba-pelumba?
The most outstanding example of how different it is, the wings. The Toyota 2000 GT didn't have any aerodynamics because it was in the 60s, where aerodynamics was in its infancy, where they were trying to explore on Grand Prix cars, F1 cars in particular. Now, we have aerodynamics fully kitted out to GT3 specification for the Supra car. So, without further ado, we might actually go to check out how the car and track combo looks like.
Tetapi sebelum itu kita akan memberikan ataupun mendengar terlebih dahulu temu bual bersama dengan individu yang sangat-sangat penting untuk perlombaan Velocity Gazoo ini, Toyota Gazoo ini, iaitu Nas bersama dengan Alex Yong. Jom.
Thank you very much, dear commentators. Looks like you guys are having a lot of fun. I'm having quite a bit of fun here myself as I go one-on-one with a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, para hadirin sekalian, kita mengorak sejarah seketika. Kita bersama dengan pemandu F1 pertama Malaysia. Alex Yong is here with us. Hey Alex, I have to ask, are you half vampire? What is your secret? Aloe vera and avocado? Is that it?
That's exactly it.
Well, we are here to ask you your first question. How have you been?
I mean, it's been tough, obviously, for everyone. But keeping busy with the esports, that side of the motorsports has been a lot of fun. Seeing a lot of the younger kids coming up, it's been quite rewarding, actually.
And the way I see it, because a lot of people are stuck at home and exploring their boundaries, it seems that esports simulation racing is really going through the roof. And I'm glad that Toyota Gazoo Racing Velocity is taking the step forward to bring younger drivers to the fore on the digital path. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Toyota, it's all about consistency. And Toyota have done that. This is the 4th year they've been running it. And especially in the pandemic, no matter how difficult the circumstances, they're still putting on programs like this. Even the festival, the TGR festival, Toyota maybe single-handedly are doing more for motorsport than anyone else.
Well, and esports definitely widens the playing field so that people who are, if you are young enough to hold a controller, and that's it, you can drive, you can race.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the changing landscape of racing?
It is changing. I mean, I actually think the sim world and the real world might start coming together, because what we're seeing is a lot of the sim drivers, they're getting into real life cars and being stunningly quick, no problem. And we're also seeing a lot of the real life drivers seeing how good the sim drivers are and are now getting onto the sim.
They're making the jump?
Yeah, they're actually getting into the sim as well. So that's quite exciting to see that the two worlds are kind of coming together.
Well, I don't see them as colliding, more like complementing each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we'll talk about the future of motorsports in just a moment. But first of all, I'm glad that you're taking this step to raise rookies. Doesn't matter what the platform is. How's the preparations been so far?
Crazy. I mean, the prep's been great, and on the driver's side, I mean, some of these kids put in 40 hours a week.
40 hours a week?
Yeah, some of them do. So it's they really work hard for this, and it's just about becoming more professional about how they do it, and a lot of them are doing that now. So when we talk to them, sometimes they say, listen, you got to put in 6 hours in the gym or something per week. They're like, easy, So it's really what shall I say? It's very inspiring to see how hard they work.
Well, looking at the fact that to many of the youngsters, it's more like playing a video game. And I can play video games for 40 hours, it's not a problem, but I think it's a little bit more for the rookies. So how do you separate between play and serious training?
Well, that's the point, I mean, that's where I suppose I have an advantage, because I come in and I explain how they do it in the real world. So they get those real world practices and say, okay, what you're doing here is fine. Okay, what you're doing here is not fine, because there needs to be a balance. And that's why a lot of the drivers we work with come into the gym and they get super fit. And they're as fit as any real life driver. Fitter, even,
Fitter,
I would
yeah?
say. Yeah, so that's the part of doing it, and being professional about it. So when you schedule, okay, I'm going to train from this period to this period, I train from this period, and I don't do any more, and I rest, or I go and eat, and then nutrition side, fitness side, all these aspects, you need a complete picture to really get there.
One of the aspects that I'm interested in is safety. In a video game, there's always the, game over, retry, restart, that sort of feeling. But in real life, that could be even fatal. So how do you instill this aspect of safety for the rookies?
Okay, so actually the rookies are much better on the safety side than the real life drivers who come to the sim world. Because what we do in the sim world is we simulate crashes. We simulate accidents, incident points. So if you go over that, that's it, your game is done. So, and ultimately, it's not about safety. Everyone wants to win, and that's the same whether in the virtual world or the real world. It's about trying to win. So they learn this discipline because we can be stricter in the virtual world. So when they come to the real world, they actually have much more discipline, they have better racecraft and better discipline in the real world. Whereas when we see some of the real world drivers coming to the sim world, they are far more aggressive, and they're the ones that end up having accidents more.
Well, I really, really hope that you instill this need to stick to STAFE guidelines as you reach for the stars. Alex Yong, thank you so very much for spending some time with us. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be back to the commentators. It's a big day today. Toyota Gazoo Racing Velocity.
Okey, itu dia bersama dengan Alex Yong. Tetapi Amir tadi dia tak sabar-sabar untuk memberikan gambaran kepada anda, terutamanya dengan penggunaan jentera yang berbeza pada perlumbaan race yang ketiga. Kita akan menggunakan jentera Supra yang sememangnya menjadi idaman ramai.
Yes, it's a car that, well, it's a lot of posters of kids, especially when you watch like the Fast and Furious series it was Dominic Toretto's first car when it first came out. This one, it's an evolution of that car. It's a racing concept that Toyota first rolled out back in 2018, and this car's a series piece of kit. It's confined to GT3 regulations, so you can have the same kind of specs, and the top speed 280 km per hour, but I think it can go much faster on the Conrod Straight at Mount Panorama.
Betul. Rekan kereta konsep ini yang memberikan isyarat betapa Toyota sememangnya begitu komited untuk membawa kembali ikon sports car iaitu Supra untuk terus menggegar pasaran permotoran, dan tentunya ia akan menunjukkan potensi besar yang dimiliki oleh Supra baik di jalan raya maupun di litar rumba. Dan anda bertanya saya, kombinasi di antara Supra dan juga Mount Panorama, ada dua straight line ataupun dua laluan lurus yang akan mereka lalui, laluan lurus yang sangat panjang sebenarnya, terutamanya di Mount Straight 1.111 km dari turn 1 ke turn yang kedua, dan juga Conrod Straight 1.9 km, dan inilah di mana pelumba-pelumba akan mencapai top speed mereka, Amir.
Absolutely, and it's 280 km per hour on these cars, but I said just now it might be more than that because you got slipstream, you got cars that are on soft tires, and you got even like more than one car racing with a slipstream, so it might be absolutely hairy, especially this is the up mountain straight going up to the cutting, while on the back straight, what we're going to see later on, it's the Conrod Straight. That one is one to watch out for. It is absolutely exhilarating to see these thoroughbred racing cars thrash it around Mount Panorama. And we go now to the format for this race, which is going to be a 5-minute time trial, time attack, or qualifiers, with a race that's going to be 30 minutes. And now we will have a bit of requirement for the race, which is a minimum white pit stop with either racing medium or racing hards they have to use. So it's a combination of soft hard, soft mediums, or medium to hards, medium to softs, whatever, so long as both of those compounds, either one of them, are used.
Itu yang perlu dilakukan, perlu dilalui oleh kesemua pelumba-pelumba dalam perlumbaan yang ketiga ini. Dan sekali lagi, apabila kita berkata tentang perlumbaan yang melibatkan kelayakan, dan hanya satu perlumbaan, itu perlumbaan yang ketiga selama 30 minit dengan pit stop yang terpaksa mereka lakukan. Jadi strategi penggunaan tayar yang akan melihat kombinasi mana yang akan berjaya. Dan yang lebih penting adalah Lita ini memiliki satu laluan yang agak baik, 6 km lebih untuk jarak Lita ini. Jadi masih ada masa untuk pelumba-pelumba walaupun terpaksa bermula pada grid yang terakhir, pada grid yang ke-10.
And now we're going to go through for the next question. Expectations. What do you expect with this race? Especially the fact that for some drivers that still have the opportunity to qualify for the 5 positions in the final, are they going to throw it all on the line, or are they just going to play it conservatively?
Itu yang menarik, Amir, kerana kalau dilihat kepada kedudukan pelumba-pelumba selepas dua perlumbaan, di mana mungkin 1, 2 dan juga 3 di antara Uzair, Rio dan juga Nabil Azlan, mungkin tiada masalah untuk mereka cuba mencari tempat ke peringkat akhir. Tetapi perebutan tempat yang ke-4 dan juga tempat yang ke-5 sangat-sangat terbuka, terutama kedudukan yang melibatkan Mio Hafiz yang mengumpul 24 mata, Mu Xuanjing dengan 28 mata, dan kita juga tidak boleh mengenepikan Chun Kian Sin sekiranya dia berjaya untuk tampil dengan lebih baik dalam perlumbaan yang ketiga ini. Jadi dari segi perkiraan masih lagi ada peluang untuk pelumba-pelumba yang berada di pertengahan. Okey. Baik, kita akan menyaksikan perlumbaan yang ketiga, perlumbaan yang terakhir membebaskan kumpulan B mencari 5 pelumba untuk mara ke peringkat akhir.
So welcome then to the qualifiers for race number 3 here for Group B of the Toyota Velocity Esports Championship for 2021. My name is Amir Aziz, alongside me is Isman Mohamed Noor, and we're ready for qualifying here at one of the world's best motor racing circuits, Mount Panorama in Bathurst. What a feeling. Look at that. Early morning start, headlights on. This is a great driver's challenge.
Race ataupun perlumbaan yang berbeza dengan perlumbaan yang pertama dan juga perlumbaan yang kedua. Mereka menggunakan jentera yang berbeza, litar yang berbeza, keadaannya juga berbeza, dan pastinya pemanduan yang berbeza yang diperlukan oleh pelumba-pelumba, terutamanya berlumba dalam kegelapan Pelumba dalam gelap ini kita menyaksikan bahawa di sinilah fokus yang diperlukan oleh pelumba-pelumba sebenarnya Amir untuk mereka melalui dan juga melepasi seleko, kerana di litar ini iaitu di Mount Panorama ini akan menyaksikan bukan saja litar yang panjang, tetapi mereka juga akan melalui 23 seleko untuk diharungi oleh para pelumba dan dua laluan lurus yang sangat panjang di mana di Mountain Straight 1.111 km dan juga di Conrad Straight 1.916 km. Perubahan dari segi jentera, perubahan dari segi keadaan litar yang memerlukan perubahan dari segi pemanduan.
Indeed. And the fact that when you mentioned Conrad Straight, this is one of the most fearsome straights in all motorsports even. And they had to have a chicane back in 1987 because they had a fatal accident during one of the Bathurst 1000 races. So the cutting was introduced and, sorry, not the cutting, the chase. The chase was introduced to slow the cars down. Look at that, hot glowing brakes when they come in. That's how much they had to brake and stop these cars coming through the cutting. The chase. It's an absolutely amazing circuit and really tests the driver's skill and the car's capabilities of actually handling it without damaging themselves. So we're looking at qualifying now. In fact, the qualifying is such a long distance from the start finish line from the pit lane. It's actually going to be just one run. So one run will make the difference here in qualifying.
Kerana laluan ataupun jarak keseluruhan litar ini yang sepanjang 6.213 km. Dan yang menariknya tentang litar Mountain Panorama ini, kerana Mount Panorama kerana ia terletak di pada kedudukan 962 meter pada aras laut, itu seandainya mereka mencapai kedudukan tertinggi di litar. Kita berada menyaksikan di sini ada pendakian yang terpaksa dilakukan oleh pelumba-pelumba dan the lowest to highest ataupun daripada laluan rendah menuju ke laluan tinggi adalah sejauh 174 meter. Itu antara yang menariknya membabitkan Bathurst ataupun Mount Panorama Circuit ini, dan ianya juga merupakan laluan untuk orang awam balik ke rumah.
Yes, it's actually public roads here because on top of the hill there's actual houses. So when it's not on the race days, it's actually just a typical public roads, just like Spa. But prior to 2000, Spa-Francorchamps of course became a closed circuit after 2000. This is still pretty much an open road that you can actually take on your bike or even your car on a daily basis. Now we're looking at Uzai here on the Conrad Straight. Let's see how fast these cars can reach. 260, maybe even 270 is going to reach coming up to the chase. Yep, 277 that he touches a bit before he has to jam on the brakes and turn into the chase.
Itu antara top speed yang akan dapat digunakan oleh pelumba-pelumba, terutamanya ketika mereka akan melalui Conrad Straight yang sejauh 1.9 km dan kemudiannya di-chase di turn yang ke-20-21 dan di turn yang ke-22 sebelum seleko yang terakhir, Morris Corner, yang akan mereka harungi dan menuju kembali semula ke main straight untuk pelumba-pelumba.
So it's 2 laps here apparently because we estimated just now it would be going to be 1 run, but in fact it's going to be 2 now. So some of these drivers, if they get to cross the line within the next half a minute, will have 1 more run, and Uzai is well in position. In fact, some of the drivers have built off. Uzai is still going on. 5:10 sub on Nabil Azlan, a near perfect 2-minute .418. Wow! 5/10 faster than Nabil Azlan. He's laying on the gauntlet here. He knows that he wants his championship back. He was winning 2018. He's really laying gauntlet here.
Tapi Nabil Azlan akan terus memburu Uzair. Race yang pertama kita melihat persaingan di antara Nabil Azlan dan juga Uzair. Uzair menamakan perlumbaan di tempat yang kedua. Nabil Azlan menamakan persaingan di kedudukan yang ketiga. Dan perlumbaan yang kedua juga kita menyaksikan persaingan di antara Nabil Azlan dan juga Uzair. Tetapi Uzair memiliki lebih pengalaman untuk dia memenangi perlumbaan yang kedua, dan Nabil mengakhiri perlumbaan di tempat yang ketiga. Jadi ini antara dua pelumba yang sekali lagi akan bersaing untuk cuba memenangi perlumbaan yang ketiga ini, yang terakhir ini. Dan kita juga menyaksikan di mana kedudukan Mo Xuan Jin yang berjaya menamakan perlumbaan di tempat yang kedua dalam perlumbaan yang kedua tadi. Dia mengekalkan prestasinya untuk mencatatkan masa yang ketiga terpantas. Tetapi secara keseluruhannya, Amir, antara peluang yang dimiliki oleh Chun Kian Sin dan juga Aiman Hazim yang berada di tempat yang ke-6 dan juga ke-7 dengan 12 mata. Hanya satu syarat seandainya mereka mahu mencari ataupun melangkah ke peringkat akhir, iaitu memenangi perlumbaan yang ketiga ini dan mengharapkan Mio Hafiz antaranya gagal untuk berada di sekurang-kurangnya pada kedudukan P1 dan juga P2.
Syarat wajib, you might say. It's
Yes.
compulsory. They have to actually finish in front of him. But not only that, they have to finish in front of him by at least a few positions. So let's say if one of them wins the race 25, he has to finish third or worse so they have an opportunity to go through. In fact, sorry, fourth or worse to go through. As we are now we're ending the qualifying session. Uzai then 5/10 up on Nabil Azlan. What an unbelievable lap. He nearly broke into the 159s, but just about there. 4/10 off. Nabil in second. Mu Xuanjing third. Go Wayne fourth. Fifth is Mio Hafiz. Sixth Aiman Hazim. Seventh is Ria Kusuma. Eighth Lia Jia Cheng. Ninth is Chung Kian Sin. And 10th Putra Azwira. He's really not having a good day, isn't he?
Tetapi untuk Uzair, dia ada peluang melakukan apa yang dilakukan oleh Taj Izrin dalam kumpulan A, yang mana Taj memenangi perlumbaan kedua dan juga memenangi perlumbaan yang ketiga ketika menyaksikan di perlumbaan yang pertama Taj berada di tempat yang kedua. Jadi mungkin kita akan dapat melihat Uzair mampu melakukan seperti mana yang dilakukan oleh Taj Izrin yang memenangi perlumbaan yang kedua dan juga ketiga dalam kumpulan A. Jadi ini dia kedudukan dan juga keputusan untuk perlumbaan untuk sesi kelayakan penentuan grid. Jadi Uzair akan bermula di grid hadapan.
So here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, the final race of the day for Group B, and we will now decide the 5 drivers that go through from this group to the grand final tomorrow, and we cannot even contain ourselves now. This is definitely going to be one of the most intense races because it's Mount Panorama. We're going to wait for the lights to go up. We're going to get a counter here from 3 to 1. Waiting for it. 3, 2, 1. And we're underway for the final time here at Bathurst. And Nabil Azlan actually has the outside line, who's going to probably take the lead. But no, Uzai actually gets him into turn 1 and takes the lead, takes the whole shot as they come up to the mountain straight. Second, Nabil Azlan. Third, Mu Xuanjing. Fourth, Go Wayne. And fifth, Mio Hafiz, as the field now stream up into the darkness.
Satu permulaan yang baik dilakukan oleh Uzair untuk dia mempertahankan kedudukan di tempat yang pertama selepas melepasi seleko yang pertama itu. Biarpun dia berikan cabaran oleh Nabil yang kini sudah berjatuh di tempat yang ketiga dengan meletakkan Mu Xuanjing naik ke kedudukan yang kedua. Jadi 1, 2 dan juga 3. Tiada perubahan di tempat yang pertama, ada perubahan di tempat yang kedua dan juga di tempat yang ketiga. Sementara di tempat yang keempat, Go Yiying yang bermula dengan baik dalam perlombaan yang ketiga kali ini, dan Mio Hafiz di tempat yang kelima.
Well, very calm start for everybody. Oh, a bit of a touch on the wall there coming through McPhillamy Park as they now approach Skyline. This is actually one of the most beautiful vantage points on the entire circuit. You can see the whole almost of New South Wales there as they drop now to the Dipper and they come up to, they descend now to Forest Elbow, named because of a motorcycle rider who once raced here, lost half his elbow. So that's why they call it Forest Elbow, because the guy's name happens to be Forest.
Jadi Mio Hafiz di tempat yang kelima, Chun Kian Sin, Aiman Hazim. Inilah peluang kalau nak mara ke peringkat akhir. Tetapi kedudukan semasa yang mana menyaksikan Aiman Hazim berada di belakang Putra Azwira di kedudukan yang keberapa kita perhatikan di situ. Oh, Nabil Azlan yang hampir-hampir dapat dipintas oleh Go, tetapi Nabil merampas semula untuk bertahan di tempat yang ketiga. Mio Hafiz terus merepati kedudukan Go Yiying untuk perebutan 4 dan juga 5. Jadi 3, 4 dan 5 terarah kepada Nabil Azlan. Begitu juga dengan Go Yiying dan Mio yang sememangnya menunggu peluang yang terbaik untuk meminta. Tetapi Uzair di sini tiada masalah biarpun dia diberikan tekanan yang berterusan oleh Mu Xuanjing. Menarik untuk kita perhatikan tentang prestasi yang ditampilkan oleh Mu Xuanjing ini. Selepas dia tamat di tempat yang kelima dalam perlombaan pertama, dia bangkit untuk berada di kedudukan yang kedua dan kini dia mengekori Uzair untuk terus cuba memenangi perlombaan yang ketiga.
Amazing how a podium changes everything, because once you have a good result in your bag, you can actually try to work on that even more. and try to work on it to secure yourself even further when you qualify well right now, what Wu Xuanjing is doing. Second place right now, challenging Uzai. That's something that we didn't expect after he finished in the first race, but nonetheless, he's in a good position now to actually qualify for the grand finals if things stand where they are. And as they come through the cutting here, coming up to Skyline, look at that drop, a very deep drop here. We're at the highest point of the circuit, 174 meters high. Now we're going to drop and descend back to the bottom of the mountain.
Tapi perlu juga kita ingatkan bahawa perlumbaan yang ketiga ini akan memperlihatkan pelumba-pelumba perlu untuk melakukan perhentian pit dan juga penggunaan pemilihan tayar yang juga perlu dipatuhi oleh pelumba-pelumba ini. Jadi ini juga akan menjadikan satu strategi kepada mereka, terutamanya bagi Nabil Azlan ataupun Mo sendiri untuk cuba memberikan cabaran kepada Uzai. Kita perhatikan 2 dan juga 3 di sini. Gol di tempat yang ketiga, Nabil Azlan jatuh ke kedudukan yang keempat. Dia mau merampainya
Three
semula.
wide, they're going 3 wide, coming out to the final corner. Then Mio's on the outside, he hits actually one of the corner markers. Corner markers fly away. That's not going to be good. They have no breaking point in the dark. But Mio somehow gets up to 4th and he squeezed his way through. Wayne then, the big loser out of there, losing potentially 3rd and 4th in one sweep. Now, Mio again, he's at the back of Nabil Azlan. They're both almost inseparable. It's like as if Nabil is actually attracting a lot of ERD drivers today, and Mio is no exception.
Jadi Nabil Azlan masih lagi bertahan, tetapi Mio yang terus mencari peluang masuk ke sebelah kiri untuk berada di bersebelah dengan Nabil Azlan menuju ke Seleko di sebelah kanan. Selepas ini Nabil dari bahagian dalam, Mio Hafiz di bahagian luar. Nabil masih lagi bertahan di kedudukan yang ketiga dan kali ini Mio pula akan berada di bahagian dalam di sini. Mio naik ke tempat ketiga. Nabil nampaknya terpaksa melanggar di bahagian dinding.
He clutched the short straw there because he was on the outside. He knew full well that if he tried to actually squeeze Mio a bit, Mio will have to squeeze even more. And unfortunately, he's actually gone into the barriers. And luckily, the penalty system that we have on board didn't award him penalty because a few builds prior, if you touch that wall, you're going to get penalty. So Nabil lucky to get away with that one, while Mio then would definitely get the inquiry of the stewards there. That was severe, a very severe push. And I would hazard to guess, Nabil might have actually got the damage out of that.
Jadi Nabil di tempat yang keempat dan giliran Go pula yang akan cuba untuk menggunakan kesempatan itu, memberikan ruang kepada Mio untuk terus menjarakkan diri. Tetapi di bahagian hadapan Uzair dan juga Mo Xuanjing masih lagi tidak ada perubahan di antara kedua pelumba ini. Kita berada bersama dengan Nabil Azlan. Perhatikan Go yang mencari ruang, sudah pun bersebelahan untuk memintas kedudukan. Nabil jatuh di tempat yang kelima. Satu gerakan yang baik daripada Go Yiying untuk naik ke tempat yang keempat.
And crucially though, Nabil actually has sustained damage from that hit that Mio pushed the door. Look, we're looking at our second screen right now on the right hand corner. So previous race, it was the left hand corner that he had damage at Goodwood. Now it's on the right. What can he do to actually get away from a race without any damage? Look at that. He's struggling trying to get back, but the differential between the speed may be just enough here to keep him in, the slipstream will be enough to keep him still in play, but he has an awful lot of work to do here to prevent himself from being left behind.
Jadi akan memberikan satu cabaran kepada Nabil Azlan untuk menamatkan. Lebih penting adalah menamatkan perlumbaan ini. Ada 23 minit 20 saat yang berbaki untuk Nabil Azlan memastikan sekurang-kurangnya dia berada di kedudukan 5 teratas, dan kali ini dia mau merampas sebelum tempat yang keempat. Dia belum lagi berputus asa untuk memberikan rasakan kepada Mo Xuanjing, kepada Go yang berada di tempat yang keempat. Kita perhatikan di mana Nabil Azlan mungkin sedikit merasa bermasalah dengan keadaan keretanya selepas ada sedikit pelanggaran di bahagian dinding di sebelah kanan tadi. Tetapi Go sedikit terbabas. Sekali lagi di situ Go pula yang berdepan dengan situasi yang hampir sama.
And luckily for him, he actually got away with that one, because normally people who collide that wall coming from Philippine Park will actually get a lot of damage. But luckily that time, a slight tap on the wall, sparks fly, nothing to it. It's just luckily just scraped the wall to prevent damage, and he's still in 4th place. Nabil though might be a bit worried right now because he's almost a second. In fact, he's now exactly a second behind Wayne. So that damage that Mio did to him has been enough to actually prevent him from chasing after Go Wayne. So not a good start to this long half-hour race for Nabil Azlan.
Saya rasa untuk Nabil Azlan mara ke akhir tiada masalah. Jika dia berada sekurang-kurangnya dia hanya memerlukan secara keseluruhan untuk Nabil Azlan dia hanya memerlukan maksimum 8 mata ataupun di kedudukan yang ke-6. Jadi seandainya dia menamatkan P6 dia akan selamat untuk ke peringkat akhir, dan di sini dia berkedudukan di tempat yang ke-5, dan jika di P6 pun perubahan itu hanya akan berlaku sekiranya Chong Kian Sin ataupun Aiman Hazim memenangi perlumbaan ini. Tetapi untuk kedudukan semasa Aiman Hazim di tempat yang ke-7. Jadi tak ada masalah untuk Nabil.
And he loses it as we were actually going on to him. So coming out of Hell Corner there nearly turned into hell for him, because it was named Hell Corner because of a tree stump that they cut. If any motorcycle rider were to touch it, they will be hit with a fatal accident or really severe accident. So that's a bit of a trivia why it was called Hell Corner there. Nearly went pear-shaped for Imazim, and now he's got Putra Azwira, Li Jiacheng, who just probably wants to end the day today on a high after what has been rather disappointing, you might say, for him.
Betul, Putra Azwira agak mengecewakan dalam peringkat separuh akhir ini selepas dia hanya mengutip 3 mata daripada 2 perlumbaan, tempat yang ke-10 di perlumbaan yang pertama dan ke-9 di perlumbaan yang kedua. Jadi harapan untuk Putra Azwira ke peringkat akhir sudah pun berkubur, tetapi saya percaya dia akan cuba untuk memastikan penampilannya kali ini dapat ditamatkan dalam keadaan yang terbaik. Aiman Azim di tempat yang ke-7, kedudukan yang ke-8 adalah Li Jiacheng yang hanya mengutip 7 mata daripada 2 perlumbaan, dan Aiman Hazim masih lagi agak bergelut untuk mengendalikan jenteranya dalam keadaan yang gelap ini. Apa yang memberikan cabaran kepada pelumba?
A lot of challenges, especially the fact that you're trying to follow another car in the dark. If you're the guy in front, it's difficult because you can't see the guy in front. Behind, on the other hand, you can't judge the braking. You can actually hit the back of somebody if you actually got it completely wrong, because you don't have any brake markers you can see like in the day. So at night, you can easily run to the back of somebody and wreck their races too. So challenge at night is very difficult to drive, but for these drivers, they're relishing to it. And for guys like Uzay, 3.8 seconds, and it's only just 10 minutes in. So unbelievably, this guy, despite being on the back foot at the very first race, he's actually come through now, and he will win this particular group to go into the final. Red hot favourite.
Dia dah berada di akhir pun untuk Uzair, kerana 43 mata yang dia miliki setakat ini, sekurang-kurangnya tidak akan menggugat kedudukannya untuk berada dalam kelompok 5 terbaik. Tetapi yang pentingnya Uzair mahu memenangi perlumbaan yang ketiga seperti mana yang dilakukannya pada perlumbaan yang kedua tadi. Jadi Uzair dengan kedudukan hampir 4 saat untuk dia meninggalkan Mo Xuan Jing di tempat yang kedua. Satu keadaan yang sangat selesa untuk Uzair yang menggunakan kalau tak silap saya tadi dia menggunakan soft tire untuk peringkat permulaan ini. Jadi itu akan memberikan satu lagi kelebihan kepada Uzair kerana tiada trafik di hadapan, dia tidak ada halangan mendapat seperti mana yang Amir katakan, terutamanya dari segi braking zone dia dapat melihat dengan baik. Jadi saya rasakan kedudukan Uzair sangat-sangat selesa untuk berada dan juga memenangi perlumbaan yang ketiga dengan perbezaan 4.3 saat.
We're looking at from a second screen, Putra Azwira. He's one of the very first drivers to pit, and he's gone on to the soft tires from medium and has a 5-second penalty. So dreadful day, to be honest, for a guy that could have been one of the favorites as well, but unfortunately it has not turned out that way. We're looking through the others. Chung Kian Sing, who had a dramatic first race at Bathurst, he's 9th. Li Jiacheng in 8th, and 7th is Aiman Azim. So those two guys, sorry, it's not Jiacheng, but Chung Kian Sing and Aiman Azim, they wanted to have an opportunity to actually overtake Mio Hafiz. They needed to outscore him by at least 14 points to be sure that they could go through the next round. While they're battling him on themselves right now, they have no way in actually going through. So we can simply say top 5 is pretty much safe and done right now. He's won.
Betul. Untuk 5 pelumba yang berada di tempat dan 5 teratas selepas 2 perlumbaan Uzair, begitu juga dengan Rio Padukusuma, Mo Xuan Jing dan Mior Mama Hafiz berada pada tempat yang ke-5. Dan kita perhatikan ada di sini 7 dan juga 8 yang terus bersaing untuk Li yang dapat melepasi Aiman Hazim untuk dia naik ke tempat yang ke-7. Li Jiacheng, kita perhatikan gerak yang dilakukan oleh Li Jiacheng terutamanya bagi berada di kedudukan yang ke-7, dan Aiman jatuh ke tempat yang ke-8.
And another man going to the pits, it's a guy who was from 8th place, it's Chung. So he just wants to actually save his race right now by entering early, and he's gone onto the soft tires. So medium to softs for everybody here. And remember, they have to use at least the medium or the hard compounds to do this race. So for certain drivers, they want to go long at the end, they can go hard after starting the soft. But if you're in the medium, you're gonna have to go soft actually, because you need to have that pace to actually at least have an opportunity to overtake the guy in front. As Nabil Aslan scratches the barriers, he wouldn't want to damage that right hand side any further because he's got Rio Kusuma right behind him, and these guys are second and third right now in the standings.
Rio terus mengejar untuk Rio Padukusuma. Oh, Nabil Azlan yang masih lagi dapat bertahan untuk berada di tempat yang ke-5, tetapi Rio adalah seorang pelumba yang sangat bersabar untuk menanti peluang yang terbaik untuk dia memintas. Itulah karakter yang ada kepada Rio Padukusuma, dan saya percaya dengan kedudukan 16 minit yang terakhir masih lagi ada banyak waktu untuk Rio naik ke tempat yang ke-5.
Right then, both drivers have committed a pit stop in the first few 6 positions so far, with Nabil Aslan now probably a bit incensed, angry by how the fact that he just got pushed out by Mio Hafiz battling for the comes of the top 10, in fact, comes of the top 3. In fact, Nabil now comes in early, and I guess he will try to fix that damage to prevent further loss of time. So he's into the pits, he was on medium tires, definitely going to the softs as we look further in front. Go Wayne that he was actually chasing still stays out, Mio Hafiz stays out, and also Mu Xuanjing and Uzai.
Itu akan terus memberikan kelebihan kepada Uzair yang kini ada 5 poin dan 3 saat untuk Uzair berada di hadapan pelumba yang paling hampir dengannya adalah Mu Xuanjing di tempat yang kedua. Kita perhatikan dari Nabil Azlan, pit stop yang dilakukannya meletakkan dia kini berada di tempat yang ke-9. Untuk Nabil Azlan, dia di mana kedudukan Nabil di tempat yang ke-7. Dia berada di belakang Ninja Check untuk berada di tempat yang ke-7 bagi Nabil Azlan.
Yeah, it's a case of recovery, and he didn't fix damage. There's still damage on the front right corner of his car. So he's trying to risk actually losing more time actually. Even despite being on the soft tires, he can't catch up with anybody. There's no slipstream to get by. There's nobody to chase out in front. He's in no man's land right now. And I'm surprised he didn't fix that damage, because it only takes a couple of seconds. Just a couple of seconds to repair that, and he'll be well on his way. But he didn't have that option. Now he's going to have to suffer with that damage for the next 14.5 minutes.
Jadi apakah itu akan memberikan kesan kepada Nabil Azlan untuk menamatkan perlombaan ini? Tetapi Putra Azwira di tempat yang ke-8 cuba untuk mengejar, di mana hari ini bukanlah hari yang terbaik untuk Putra Azwira dalam perlombaan dari peringkat separuh akhir ini, di mana walaupun di perlombaan yang kedua dia bermula di grid yang pertama, tetapi kita perhatikan sekali lagi penalti yang dikenakan kepada Putra Azwira. Jadi jelaslah bukan hari yang terbaik untuk Putra Azwira.
Oh man, you got to feel for him, you know, because he comes in as one of those drivers that actually excels in GT Sport, and to end up having a day like this is like, what did he do? Did he break multiple mirrors to get the amount of bad luck that he had today? It's just unfortunate, but guess he'll just consign this particular day to the history books and move on to the next tournament. As we look at the battle between 9th and 10th, Aiman Hazim and Chung Kia Singh on the outside there as they come into the chase. You can actually make that move stick. We saw already earlier how some drivers tried to make that move stick, and Chung actually didn't want to do that. He wanted to just play safe. They're at the bottom of the top of the standings now. They just want to actually get this over with and just move on for the next one. As drivers in front coming to the pits, including Li Jiaqing, and I think that was Mio Hafiz also entering. As for a second thought the car stopped completely.
Kalau kita nak berkatakan tentang seorang lagi pelumba yang yang melalui hari yang bukanlah terbaiknya dalam perlombaan kali ini, tentunya adalah Chun Kian Sin. 2 perlombaan dia berada di hadapan, dia mendahului perlombaan pertama, perlombaan yang kedua hanya separuh perlombaan saja, dan selepas itu hilang fokus dan juga hilang tumpuan, yang mana menyaksikan perlombaan yang pertama dia hanya menamatkan saingan di tempat yang ke-8 dan tempat yang ke-6 pada perlombaan yang kedua.
Now then, we move on to some of the other drivers we're looking through because we don't want to focus too much on the leaders because we want to give everyone the same amount of attention on camera today. And for Go Wayne, well, he hasn't had that much. Well, he spoken too soon. I think I might have called it a bit of a commentator's curse there. The moment that he goes on camera, he smacks the barriers coming out of Forrest's elbow. So, sorry Wayne, there's your time on camera.
Okey, Go di tempat yang ketiga, tetapi dia belum melakukan tapik. Kita bacakan di sini, dia hilang kawalan dan akhirnya menempuh tembok di sebelah kiri, tetapi kembali semula untuk mengawal jenteranya dan kekal berada di tempat yang ketiga. Tetapi itu akan berubah kerana Rio sudah pun melakukan Tian dan juga Mio Hafiz, antara pelumba yang lebih baik kedudukannya untuk merampas situasi ini. Dan kali ini Rio akan melakukan hentian pitnya di perlumbaan yang ketiga.
Actually, that's Go Wayne coming to the pits, so he came into the same time as Uzai. More fuel that is being used by Uzai. In fact, he had 30 liters at one point, but now they're actually coming out of track, almost tops it up, and they can go all the way to the end. Remember, fuel, we forgot to mention the fuel tire wear. Times 3 fuel, times 5 tire wear, so tires are the ones that have to look over here. Fuel is not really an issue for these guys.
Uzair dengan melakukan ataupun mengisi minyak yang lebih banyak ketika pit dan menggunakan tayar medium untuk keluar daripada pit. Apakah kita boleh mengatakan bahawa mungkin hanya satu pit strategi yang digunakan oleh Uzair dalam perlumbaan?
Yep, I think you guessed that right. It's only one stop for these guys, so they managed to make the tires last despite being 5 times tire wear. As Nabi Azlan wipes the barrier on the left-hand side. He really wants to damage that car, doesn't he? But actually, to be honest, that first time wasn't really his fault. He got actually pushed by Mio, and now, amazingly, despite the damage, he's jumped ahead of Go Wayne. So his laps on track, you can see one of them was a 159 point, but I think that was an outlap. 201.7, and compared that to Wayne, where Wayne did last time out was a 202.9, so he was a second up. The outlap that Nabi Azlan had after his pit stop was enough to jump Wayne on track. That's a good piece of driving despite having damage, but he has to look in his mirrors now. He can still give the slipstream to Wayne on Conrod Straight.
Jadi sekurang-kurangnya dia boleh tersenyum, boleh berpuasati dengan strategi yang dilakukan oleh Nabil Azlan, biarpun dia memilih tidak mahu membaki kerosakan yang terdapat pada keretanya dan meneruskan perlumbaan ini, dan kini dia berada di tempat yang kelima untuk dia mengatasi Go Ying yang jatuh ke tempat yang ke-6. Jadi yang penting untuk Nabil adalah terus konsisten dan tidak melakukan banyak kesilapan kerana masih lagi berbaki 9 minit 30 saat yang terakhir untuk perlumbaan yang ketiga ini. Dan Go cuba untuk masuk dari bahagian luar dan Nabil seperti biasa bertahan di bahagian dalam untuk dia kekal berada di tempat yang kelima buat seketika. Dan saya percaya Go akan terus memburu kedudukan Nabil Azlan untuk perebutan 5 dan juga 6 ini.
So Mu Xuanjing being one of the second to last drivers to come to the pits, he's gone onto the medium tyres as expected because he was on softs. Now then, Ryo Kusuma, the only driver to have not pitted in this race so far, he's ahead of Uzai by only 9/10. So in fact, Ryo then might start looking into his mirrors. What is his tyre state right now? Soft tyres, and it looks really almost well done here. So he needs to come into the pit soon to avoid losing any more position, because unlike some of the other tracks where the pit stops are fast, they actually simulated, Gran Turismo simulated Bathurst to have a bit of a longer pit stop. So he might lose a lot of positions here if he stays out any longer.
Perbezaan untuk Rio dengan kita lupakan Uzair kerana sebenarnya Uzair nampaknya begitu selesa untuk dominan dalam perlumbaan yang ketiga, tetapi mungkin Rio akan boleh berada pada kedudukan 4 atau 5, tetapi itu bergantung kepada kedudukan semasa ketika ini, di mana Rio dengan pelumba yang berada di tempat yang ke-5, apakah jarak yang cukup untuk dia masuk ke pit dan keluar semula nanti. Itu yang akan kita perhatikan, perbezaan masa di antara Rio Pandukusuma dan kali ini Uzair yang sememangnya begitu cemerlang sepanjang hari ini, naik ke tempat yang pertama. Tiada masalah untuk Uzair dengan tayar yang baru, dan itu akan memberikan kelebihan kepada Uzair untuk mudah melepasi Rio Pandukusuma.
Yep, new tires, slipstream, and a bit of more confidence than what Rio is having right now. Is enough? He flashes back at him. In fact, you saw Uza actually flash at Rio, so Rio probably gave him a complimentary one as Rio now comes to the pits. The last of the drivers to do so. And it will be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to the rest of the guys, because he's going to have to wait for a while, take his pit stop, take on a bit of fuel as we see the rest of the field come through. I think he might just come out behind Go Wayne, so he might come out in 6.
Jadi dia tepat ke 5 go di tempat yang ke-5, jadi Rio jatuh di tempat yang ke-6 seperti yang dijangkakan, dan kali ini masih lagi Go serta Nabil Azlan terus bersaing untuk perebutan di tempat ke-4 dan juga 5. Nabil bertahan di kedudukan yang ke-4, belum memberikan ruang dan tidak membenarkan untuk Go memintasnya, walaupun dalam keadaan jentera ataupun keretanya mengalami sedikit kerosakan di bahagian sebelah kiri, dan kita perhatikan di sini Go yang bijak untuk mengambil sedikit peluang yang ada untuk naik ke tempat yang ke-4. Jadi Nabil hilang kedudukan ke-4-nya.
Lovely piece of maneuver there from Go Wayne, going onto the inside of Nabil at Griffin's Bend, where you don't normally see cars try to overtake there, especially in high power machines like this. But you can actually make the move stick if you have the line in, and Go then going into the inside as late as possible, preventing Nabil to get by, and now he's in 4th place. But in terms of championship wise, to go through, he's not there, isn't he?
Setakat ini tiada masalah untuk Nabil Azlan mengesahkan tempat untuk beraksi di peringkat akhir nanti, tetapi bagi Go, dia sememangnya sudah boleh merupakan persaingan akhir kerana hanya 8 mata yang dikutip oleh Go Ying daripada 2 perlumbaan. Namun saya percaya Go mahukan satu penamat yang terbaiknya dalam perlumbaan yang ketiga selepas tempat yang ke-9 di perlumbaan pertama, tempat yang ke-7 pada perlumbaan yang kedua, dan kali ini untuk Go ini adalah penamat yang terbaik di peringkat separuh akhir ini jika dia berjaya bertahan di tempat yang ke-4.
Gradual increase though, 9th and now a 7th and now a 4th. So great way to end the day, albeit it will not be enough to actually for him to go through to the next round. He will take it away if any good result right now, especially the fact that he's ahead of one of the drivers who's going to go through anyway. So it's a confidence booster nonetheless. Now then, we're looking at Mio Hafiz. Oh, Wayne kicks up a bit of dust, but look at Mio Hafiz just now. He is actually only 2 seconds behind Mu Xuanjing, so he can easily make it ERD 1-2 here if he can actually claw the deficit within the last 5 minutes.
Mio Hafiz yang mengejar perlumbaan di tempat yang kedua Mo Xuanjing, yang boleh saya katakan bahawa Mo Xuanjing begitu konsisten pemanduannya di perlumbaan yang kedua dan juga di perlumbaan yang ketiga ini untuk dia mencari penamat di tempat yang kedua sekali lagi. Tetapi untuk Mio Hafiz, ini juga adalah peluang yang terbaik bagi Mio Hafiz selepas 2 perlumbaan pertama dan juga perlumbaan yang kedua. Kedua-duanya dia berakhir di tempat yang ke-4, dan ini adalah kedudukan yang terbaik untuk Mio Hafiz untuk penamat podium di buat kali yang pertama di peringkat separuh akhir. Jadi terbuka untuk Mio Hafiz, dan mungkin juga tidak mustahil untuk dia naik ke tempat yang kedua.
Yeah, for Mu Xuanjing, for example, to move up to 2nd himself, what a great way to do so, because he finished that first race in 5th in Goodwood. The second race he finished 2nd. So again, it reflects how a podium immediately changes the complexion for how he could qualify. Now, if he goes to the final here, he will have that confidence to do so, to face up against some of the best in Malaysia for that final top 10. We're going to see it tomorrow, and we definitely can't wait to see that one, how some of the drivers will handle the pressure there.
Jadi kita hanya ada 3 minit 30 saat yang terakhir untuk perlombaan yang ketiga. 5 pelumba yang akan mengesahkan kemarahan ke peringkat akhir untuk menyertai Taj Izrin, Iqbal Ahmad Suji, Afif Suhaimi, Alvin Chai dan juga Haris Syahmi yang sudah pun menanti, kerana kelima-lima pelumba itu adalah 5 pelumba terbaik dalam kumpulan A, dan kali ini Uzair sedang mengetuai perlumbaan yang ketiga untuk kumpulan B. Dia menamatkan saingan tempat yang kedua pada perlumbaan yang pertama, memenangi perlumbaan yang kedua, dan kini berpeluang untuk sekali lagi memenangi perlumbaan yang ketiga. Sebenarnya Uzair antara pilihan dalam saingan bagi edisi 2021.
I don't want to stick out my neck here and pick out the winners, but he's one. Who do you think is going to win the whole thing by the time we come around tomorrow?
Untuk final kita masih lagi ada Taj Izrin, Uzair, dua pelumba inilah yang mungkin yang akan kita saksikan pada final nanti, kerana mereka sangat-sangat konsisten. Uzair menang soko akhir dengan kedua pelumba dimenanginya.
And the fact that we also cannot discount Iqbal Suji, who performed absolutely well in Group A as well. So it's a possibility that these three guys might occupy the top 3 positions by the end of the tournament.
Dan mungkin Nabil Azlan mungkin
can't discount now either, right?
Yes.
Because he can take it to the best.
Yes.
We saw how he actually battled with Mio. He battled with Uzair in the very first race. He can stick with him, but in this race at least, he's a bit out of it because of the damage that he had. And I think Mio might just get a penalty for that little shove coming up to the cutting.
Sebab perlu diingat juga Nabil Azlan dalam perlumbaan yang kedua, dia juga mengalami masalah dengan jenteranya yang mengalami damage di sebelah hadapan di bahagian kiri, tetapi berjaya untuk menambahkan perlumbaan di tempat yang ketiga. Jadi Nabil juga adalah antara yang, kalau nak katakan siapa pelumba yang boleh melakukan kejutan, saya akan memilih Nabil Azlan.
Wildcard. That's a wildcard for the win, but we'll have to keep an eye on that for tomorrow. But for today, it is all about Muhammad Uzair, the 2018 champion for the Toyota Velocity Esports Championship. 4th place in 2019. He didn't complete the top 20 for last year, which is quite surprising because a lot of top drivers last year missed out the cut. So this is for him vengeance, and vengeance is surely his as we are on the last lap, coming across the line. 1 minute and 10 seconds he broke the beam. He is well on his way to the final.
Jadi Uzair dalam kedudukan yang terbaik untuk dia sekali lagi memastikan kemenangan dan melangkah dengan penuh keyakinan ke peringkat akhir selepas dia mendominasi perlumbaan yang kedua, dan kali ini berpeluang untuk terus konsisten bagi memenangi perlumbaan yang ketiga. Dia juga melakukan catatan masa yang terpantas 2 minit 00.780 untuk mengesahkan bahawa awas, Uzair sudah pun kembali untuk merampas semula kejuaraan. Itu mungkin antara amaran yang diberikan oleh Uzair.
He won that title of being Malaysia's #1, you might safely say.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, he is actually quite confident about it. He looks pretty much like a guy that has everything under control when we saw some of the interviews. So he's playing down his chances slightly, but with the results that came through from race 1 and 2 and 3 here for Group B, you can say that he can play it up again after this, as we have the final 10 seconds now, coming through the dipper. The S is first, then the dipper, and order to Forest Elbow. Look at that, serenely through. Nothing much in terms of tie where it's almost evenly distributed. He is absolutely in cruise control right now, and victory surely his. 11.5 seconds. Mu Xuanjing had no answer for him.
Jadi Uzair semakin menghampiri untuk menambahkan perlumbaan ini, dan diikuti di tempat yang kedua adalah Mu Xuanjing. Dia dapat bertahan biarpun Mior Hafiz turut mengintai peluang yang sama, tetapi jarak yang ditinggalkan oleh Mu Xuanjing dijangka tidak akan memberikan masalah kepada Mu untuk menamatkan sekali lagi untuk berada di tempat yang kedua. Seperti mana perlumbaan yang kedua tadi, kita melihat Uzair tempat yang pertama, dan kali ini Uzair melepasi checkered flag untuk menangi perlumbaan yang ketiga, dan akan diikuti oleh Mu Xuanjing untuk berada di kedudukan yang kedua buat kali yang kedua berturut-turut dalam aksi di peringkat separuh akhir. Jadi kemenangan untuk Uzair, dan kita nantikan ketibaan selepas ini Mo yang tidak mempunyai masalah biarpun Mio berada di belakangnya. Jadi Mio turut memperbaiki prestasinya dengan penamat di tempat yang ketiga.
4 is going after a very, very competent drive to actually retake 4th position away from Nabil Azlan. Nabil is 5th, disappointingly after getting damaged earlier on. Rio Kusuma 6th, 7th is Putra Azwira to end the day right on high. Oh, in fact, he's going to get pipped on the line by Chun Kian Singh. There we go, 7th. Oh, that's just a miserable day for Putra Azwira, isn't it? He carried that 5-second penalty all the way to the end. Li Jiaqing in 9th, and Ayman Azim, where is he actually? He's a further distant 10th, but anyway, that's the top 10 in this in race 3 for Group B, and we will now get back to the studio with Naz.
Okey, tetapi sebelum kita akan bersama dengan Naz, ini dia keputusan penuh bagi perlombaan yang ketiga, dengan Uzair sekali lagi mempamerkan penguasaannya untuk menangi perlombaan yang ketiga. Begitu juga dengan Mo Xuanjing yang jelas konsisten untuk mengekori kedudukan Uzair untuk berada di tempat yang kedua, dan Mio Hafiz di tempat yang ketiga. Go di kedudukan yang keempat. Nabil Azlan penamat di tempat yang kelima kali ini. Rio Pandukusuma di tempat yang keenam, dan diikuti oleh Chun Kianasin 7 apabila dia memintas Putra Azwira di saat akhir untuk Putra Azwira berada di kedudukan yang ke-8, dan Li Jia Cheng ke-9. Aiman Hazim agak kecewa untuk berada di tempat yang ke-10. Okey, itulah yang dapat kita saksikan, Amir, di mana Uzair begitu konsisten sekali untuk memenangi perlumbaan yang ketiga, dan kita menyaksikan ada dua pelumba yang menarik perhatian saya, terutamanya Uzair dan juga Mo Xuanjing.
Yeah, especially the fact that for Uzair, he was consistent throughout the second and third races. In fact, first as well, after being at the back, he managed to actually qualify well enough to actually go up to second, and then the second and third race just it's superlative. It's superb. There's no superlative to describe how it looked easy that he made to actually get up there. And then Mo Xuanjing, 5th place at the start of the day, to actually get back up into the top 2 at the end of it is impressive as well. He also can prove himself to be a wild card here to actually challenge the top 5 even for tomorrow's race in the grand final.
Jadi untuk perlombaan untuk perlombaan akhir nanti, antara yang akan kita saksikan adalah Taj Izrin antaranya yang pasti menarik untuk menyaksikan pertemuan dua pelumba ini. Baik, kita akan bersama Nas yang akan bersama dengan sesi temu bual seterusnya. Silakan Nas.
Terima kasih Izwan, terima kasih juga kepada Amir. Wah, menggelupur mereka melihat keputusan race ketiga. Wah, semuanya tiba-tiba dari menyokong Encik Rio Pandukusuma, tiba-tiba semua nak menyokong Encik Muhammad Uzair pula. Tak apa, kita beri peluang. Semuanya fair and square. Dan cakap pasal fair and square, peluang cerah untuk Mio Muhammad Hafiz yang mendapat podium finish kali ini untuk race yang ketiga. Tahniah kita ucapkan Mio. Macam mana
terima kasih.
Komen anda tentang prestasi perlumbaan untuk race pertama, kedua dan ketiga? Silakan Mio.
Di race pertama saya start dengan pole, agak goyang juga sebab starting tu siapa belakang saya time tu? Yang siapa yang dia sim agak apa,
ada masalah
ketekan jugalah.
Sesuaikan diri.
Ya, betul.
Jadi kalau kita buat comparison lah, kereta GR Supra yang anda bawa tadi, anda bandingkan dengan Toyota 2000 GT, banyak beza ataupun tidak?
Oh, of course, banyak perbezaannya, memang banyak. Sebab tu kereta yang Toyota lama ni, tu apa? 2000 GT ni, memang agak banyak a lot oversteer, banyak sangat membuang. So kalau saya dah beri peluang, kalau saya diberi peluang untuk memandu kereta tu lagi, saya taubat tak nak pemandu lah.
Oh, taubat
very tricky.
Jadi sekarang tadi di atas podium finish anda, tempat yang ketiga, dan insyaAllah melayakkan diri ke grand final kita. Jadi macam mana anda rasa prospek anda untuk grand final besok? Mampukah anda mengungguli Toyota Gazoo Racing Velocity tahun ini?
Untuk final esok, saya mau santai saja sebab prestasi saya sekarang ni tidak menentu, up and down. So untuk final esok insyaAllah saya ingin santai ya, tak nak pressure sangat.
Tak nak pressure sangat, santai-santai je. Anda antara 10 pemandu terpantas di Malaysia, takkan nak relax-relax saja kot?
Sebab kalau ada rezeki adalah.
Kalau ada rezeki. Oh, gentle orangnya, gentle driver. Dan setakat ini tahniah diucapkan sekali lagi kepada Encik Mio Muhammad Hafiz kita. Kita jumpa esok di grand final ya, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah.
Okey, terima kasih banyak-banyak. Itulah dia wawancara kita bersama dengan Mio Muhammad Hafiz. Jadi apa kata untuk kita singkap kembali highlights untuk race yang ketiga? Silakan.
Perlombaan yang ketiga bagi kumpulan B yang mana menyaksikan awal-awal lagi Uzair sudah pun mula untuk mempamerkan kehebatannya apabila dia berjaya memintas untuk berada di tempat yang pertama, dan di kedudukan yang ketiga pada ketika ini adalah Nabil Azlan. Tapi selepas itu turut memperlihatkan Mo Xuan Jing yang dapat meminta kedudukan Nabil Azlan untuk Mo naik ke tempat yang kedua, dan Mo Xuan Jing mempamerkan satu pemandangan yang konsisten untuk dia terus kekal berada di tempat yang kedua. Tetapi Nabil Azlan sebaliknya berlaku apabila perebutan tempat ketiga, 4 dan juga 5 di antara Nabil, Go serta Mio, dan di sinilah Mio mengambil kesempatan untuk naik ke tempat yang ketiga dan menyaksikan Nabil Azlan melakukan sedikit kesilapan yang mana jenderanya juga mengalami sedikit masalah selepas itu, dan Mio terus berada di tempat yang ketiga. Nabil Azlan gagal untuk mempertahankan kedudukannya di tempat yang keempat apabila menyaksikan Go menggunakan kelebihan jentera yang lebih baik untuk berada di tempat yang keempat, dan Nabil jatuh ke kedudukan yang kelima. Tetapi untuk Nabil Azlan secara keseluruhan dalam perlombaan ini menyaksikan dia tidak berdepan dengan masalah untuk mengesahkan tempat ke peringkat akhir, dan Uzair memenangi perlombaan apabila perbezaan hampir 12 saat untuk berada di depan Mo di tempat yang kedua, dan Mio Muhammad Hafiz di kedudukan yang ketiga.
And so on to the final results for Group B after 3 races, and it's been confirmed that Muhammad Uzair has stamped his authority in this group after taking 2 back-to-back victories alongside a second from the first race to have a healthy total of 68 points. He is 22 points ahead of Mo Xuan Jing in second with 46. Rio Pandakusuma, despite that first race win, kind of went off the boil a bit to finish nonetheless in third with 43. Nabil Azlan 40. Mio Hafiz a further point behind 39 with a penalty at the end of race 3 after that little contact he had with Nabil Azlan. Those two are going to be to watch out for the final. Go Yiying, one of the first guys outside of that cut for the top 5 on 20. Then Chung Kian Sing surviving some really close battles, and we can never forget what happened to him at the start of the weekend with the spin at Goodwood with 18 points. Then Aiman Hazim 13, Lee Jia Cheng 9, and Putra Azwira running out the top 10 after quite simply an abysmal run for today. And that is the top 10 for Group B.
Jadi kita sudah pun memiliki 10 pelumba yang terbaik di Malaysia untuk mereka berantap dan juga berlumba dalam perlumbaan akhir nanti. Jadi anda jangan lepaskan peluang untuk menyaksikan antara perlumbaan yang pastinya saya rasakan antara yang terbaik sepanjang 4 musim ini.
Yep, indeed. And, well, it's time for us to sign out because this will be the last time you see us for this weekend. We'll be moving over to the finals tomorrow. But I have to say, it's been exciting to be working alongside Izwan.
Thank you, man.
And it's been a great run for us. So, without further ado, it's back to the studio to Naz to round out the top 10 for the grand final.
Thank you very much, Izwan. Thank you, Amir, as well. Capital work from you guys in keeping things exciting throughout race 1, 2, and 3 of semi-final 2. Group B has just concluded, ladies and gentlemen. We've chosen 5 more grand finalists from our list of 10 drivers, and so I have the final list for you. Congratulations, these are the fastest drivers or simulation racers in Malaysia. Congratulations to Taj Izrin Aiman, Muhammad Uzair, Muhammad Iqbal Suji, Mo Xuan Jing, Muhammad Afif Shuhaimi, Rio Pandakusuma, Alvin Chai Ming Han, Nabil Azlan, Harish Shami, and Mio Muhammad Hafiz. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. These 10 drivers will be blazing the trails in tomorrow's grand finals for a piece of the prize money, 70,000 ringgit altogether, yeah? And so we hope for you guys to stick with us tomorrow for the grand finals of the Toyota Gazoo Racing Velocity Esports Championship 2021. If you noticed, among the top 10, we've got 2 former champions in the mix. But as you can see from race 1, 2, and 3, throughout both semi-finals, anything goes as we talk about this platform, Velocity. So thank you very much once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nazruddin Rahman signing off. And last but not least, thank you to our sponsors as well. We'd like to thank Toyo Tires, Denso, Modelista, NK, Drive M7, Motis, and Toyota Capital Malaysia. Without you guys, there would be no Malaysia's biggest simulation race event. Right here. Thank you so much from all Malaysians, and to car enthusiasts, racing enthusiasts, we'll see you tomorrow at the grand finals. Nazruddin Rahman signing off. Thank you so very much. Assalamualaikum.
It starts with a belief, a mission, a desire to rise through every challenge with our sight aimed at the sky. We're pushing the limits in the never-ending race towards ever better. Every lap is a discovery of what it takes to accelerate our capabilities. And we're not slowing down. We evolve to satisfy that calling from within. To get the adrenaline racing. To bring extraordinary to the everyday. Take on the exhilaration. New Vios GR Sport. Built to thrill.
Train, sleep, repeat. Train, sleep, repeat. Now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. You can't compete. Hey, I'm here to steal the show. Let's go. Train, sleep, repeat. Let's go, let's go. You can make it. Are you ready? Let's go. Let's go. Train, sleep, repeat. Let's go, let's go. You're gonna steal the show. Let's go, let's go.
Toyota, all about the drive.